So I finally did it, Jesse.
Did what?
Just like you, right to Nintendo all the time, I did it. I'm tired of them disrespecting me. I said, Nintendo, bring back Earthbound. If you don't do it, that's it. I'm burning you down.
Ooh.
Not buying anything else. Light my Switch on fire with a hot steamy one, too, on top of it. You know what they said to me?
What's that?
It's time for the enthusiast.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
What is up, everybody? I am one of your hosts, Will Zabo. Alongside of me, the man with so much money he doesn't want to put any into this podcast, Jesse Nazario.
Hello, everybody.
And today we have two special guests from System United. We have Marshall Hogan.
Yep.
Yes, I started thinking of Logan, a.k.a. Crossfire. And we have Logan Bassett, a.k.a. Chenzo. There we go.
Hi. He doesn't even know the name.
I'm sorry, your last name's Hogan?
It is Hogan.
As in like Hulk Hogan?
As in Marshall Mathers and Hulk Hogan, yes.
And your first name's Logan.
That's why it threw me off.
That is amazing.
So inside secret, you know how you, like, when you sign up for Gmail, you gotta put, like, your name and your... So the name we use to sign up for the Systems United is Marshall Logan. And it's like an inside joke that only we will ever know. And now you guys.
That's awesome. So before we get started, how about you guys tell us what you guys do over at... Well, tell everyone what you do at System United.
Well, Logan does nothing.
Fair enough.
No. Well, we live stream on Twitch. We try to do it every day. But we've been making some upgrades to the stream. We added a green screen recently, so we've been having a bit of like technical problems with that. Like, we've been working through that, so we haven't had a daily stream recently, but we usually stream every day. And we like to stream Steam games and a lot of RPGs, a lot of Overwatch. It's been a lot of Overwatch. But we do, recently we've been playing a lot of Borderlands.
I can never play Overwatch.
Oh my god.
I try to come around every now and again, bring back like an old classic game. Did Luigi's Mansion in almost one life.
Yeah, we tried to do a whole run through Luigi's Mansion in one life, and we got all the way to the final boss, and then
I choked.
With this much health, Logan decided to choke, and we died. And it was like 2 hours of... we had like so much hype on Twitch, and then it was just like...
I attracted a professional speedrunner who says, you're gonna die.
Right, he told us we were gonna lose. But that was great. That was a fun day. We did a huge like party of like 10 people, tried to do the original Jekyll and Hyde for the NES. That was a fun time.
Which I hold the personal record for.
Which is like half a level.
Got like halfway through that game.
Everybody else just decided to quit. But yeah, so that's kind of thing we do. We like to interact with people a lot, and we'll do games. My cousin did a Steam game with us recently where like the Twitch chat can send you items in the game. And that was pretty cool.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
And you build the level. I forget what
Ultimate Chicken Horse?
Ultimate Chicken Horse.
Ultimate Chicken Horse.
You like build the level. It's like a platformer, and you build the level as you play. And the idea is that it's supposed to be hard enough so nobody else but you can beat it. And the Twitch chat can send items to make it like more devious, and it's like a big fun. So that's the kind of games that we like to do, where everybody can kind of get involved.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
We like to talk.
Yeah,
We talk a lot.
We do.
Yes.
For hours.
Yes. Then we listen to our own talking, and then we high five.
I mean, this is episode 24.
Yes. That's good.
We at least have over 24 hours of talking.
That is true. What we did do once is we did a unboxing of the Switch, which we also high-fived in. So
we did.
That's what we do. We talk, high-five.
That's
about it.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So
you yell at me throughout the week. Did you look at the notes and say, I'll get to it eventually?
So let's just get into the usual. Jesse, what have you been up to since last?
I got an Xbox One.
Woo! Yeah,
Yes.
we talked about this last episode. How are you feeling now?
Since we got two guests, I'm not going to get too deep into it. I am liking the exclusives on it, except for Gears 4. That was a bit of a disappointment.
It's just Gears.
It's just Gears. There it is, Logan. You said it well. It was nothing special. And what annoyed me was the game jumps like 25 years. So
Well,
they wanted...
spoiler alert.
Yeah, the game jumps 25 years in the Gears lore from 3, and because of that, they try to make these new characters relevant, but they still have the old cast in it. I didn't care about the new characters. Like, don't give me the old cast and expect me to care about these new people.
I feel like they only gave you the old cast so you would come back.
But then, like, the new cast is trying to, like, get on the old cast for being old. I'm like, no, they're still relevant to me. It hasn't actually been 25 years. You just jumped that name. That's it.
You just told me it's been 25 years, but it hasn't been. I know it hasn't.
You've moved on from these characters. We know you have.
But they played Quantum Break. I thought that was pretty good.
Oh, my God. Finally, somebody else who's played Quantum Break. I
Yes.
feel like that game
I played it too. I have it on PC.
It's actually, I'm enjoying it
And
very
it's good.
much. The acting I was shocked about was very phenomenal, I think. Overall, the game was just really fun. I only got into the second act, but I think the game.
I only have the same problem with that game as I have with every Xbox game: the hair. Every hair in every Xbox game.
Look, I have problems with people's hair in real life.
They
so
all look
I don't
like-
expect Xbox to tell me any different.
They all look like Ken dolls. They just look like hard plastic things on their head.
But actually, for the setup of the Xbox One, I hate it. I hate everything about it. I hate that I have to jump through 40 pages to get to my game. I hate the fact that it kicks me off every 40 seconds. It's just no.
No.
And he
I'm
hates
glad-
the name.
I hate the name Xbox One.
Yep.
What does that
Okay.
even mean?
What about you, Logan? We'll go to Marshall next. What have you been doing this
I
past
discovered Doom, and it's so good. You kill a lot of things really fast, and I just like that.
Consuming his soul.
You
slowly.
actually just start the game off by punching the person who's giving you plot in the face, and you just go.
It's amazing.
I just love that. Cause
Okay. I've played Doom. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I would say I just kind of got bored. And I think for me though it was because of the lack of story. It is just a game where you're just going out and destroying stuff.
Yeah, go kill demons.
Yeah, that is pretty much the whole premise. And I just kind of like, there's other games I could be playing like Witcher,
Right.
Or
It
you know,
feels very Resident Evil. Like you have to get the cassette or the tapes or the
the
audio
story
logs in it to get the story.
that are in the guy like the dead people's heads. Like
Yeah.
fun.
Story is optional. You don't
I-
have to know the Doom lore. You can just play
I-
Doom.
Yeah.
Did really enjoy it though. I just like punching demons in the face though.
Demons and
That's-
shotguns,
That's
man.
good.
I didn't like that when they glow and you get that you can like punch them thing. It always was the same like 3 to 4 animations. Like I always just wanted something really cool to happen.
Oh,
Yeah, but that made new enemy encounters feel fresh, because you're like,
That's true.
now I can glory kill this thing.
Yeah,
But,
the
yeah, I
floating
see
thing
what
with the
you
one eye, jump up there, pull its eye out. That was always pretty cool.
That is
But
very nice.
but yeah, it just got after a certain point when you saw all the enemies, it just kind of felt like you were like, oh, I've seen all there is to see.
Right.
Personally,
Right.
but I'm glad you're really
Doom's a
enjoying it.
first-person shooter where you fight demons. Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I've definitely.
That's
played Doom.
awkward. That's
I was
good.
just, I
That's
was
good.
having like a revelation about Breath of the Wild while you were mentioning that, and I was just like, oh my god, Zabo might be right. About so much more Breath of the Wild than I gave him credit for. Like when you mentioned the repetitive thing, I was thinking about like how repetitive it can be when you swing your sword. And I'm just like, wow, for every Zelda game that's like tried to make it more and more interesting to do that, Breath of the Wild didn't. It's like
It's just
the
a button.
same sword animation for everything.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Marshall, what have you been up to?
I've consumed my life in Borderlands recently. The second Borderlands. With
Okay.
my
Getting
cousin.
it back, man.
My cousin has it on computer, so every day when I get, because I'm staying at his house while I'm transferring apartments, so every day I'll walk in and he'll be like, Borderlands? And I'll be like, yes, we'll play Borderlands, let's go. And like suddenly 6 hours of my life has vanished. And I'm like, oh my god. So we've been trying to stream it, and that's been going well. We've had like a ton of people like join the Borderlands games, and then it just gets into chaos the whole time. But and then we played a game called Immortal Redneck, which is just so much fun. It's like a roguelike game, and it's like you're a redneck dude who I guess was in Egypt
What?
for some reason was in
Immortal
Egypt. And go figure, he was a redneck and he was on an ATV, and he was going through
What?
Egypt.
Not my redneck.
Right. And he dies. And so immediately just destroys the title of the game because he's not immortal, but then he gets resurrected. And he dies again. And then he gets resurrected again, and you start to see the plot of the game. Basically, you're just going through a dungeon, and you try to see how far you can make it, and it's actually pretty funny. There's a bunch of pop culture references in it, and I'm just like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
Awesome.
And that was pretty much all I did as far as gaming so far, so I've been slacking.
What about your personal life? Have you met the one?
Yeah, we've been together for almost a year now. And
That's so sweet.
I really think it comes off that I'm gay to him. I have made no other inclinations. I'm not to put it out in the world, but
It's fun. I mean, I've been married for quite so many years, and my wife looks me in the face and goes, "There's no way you can tell me you and Zabo aren't sleeping together." I'm like, wow.
she's like, just admit it to me now.
Just admit
I
it.
won't be mad.
So I've come to realize that you come down there and do your podcast. Come back looking real tired.
We know what it really
I'm
is.
back looking real tired.
Oh my god.
Um,
Oh, Mario Kart. The
Yeah.
new Mario Kart is pretty good. I got that and I had my hands on it for a little while. You still haven't raced me.
did you play the one for
I
the
don't wanna
Wii
make you
U?
lose that bad.
I did.
I think that's why I'm disappointed with this one, because I
Yeah.
was expecting a new game, and since it's just the Wii U one with better graphics,
4 new characters. Wait, 6 new characters.
yeah,
sorry.
I couldn't really get into it because of that. Really, I played it for like a day. and
Are
that's
they
it.
new? I know they were DLC. but
No,
No,
King
new.
Boo.
They are new.
King Boo was never in the Wii U version.
Okay.
Bowser Jr.,
And
my
the
favorite.
Splatlings.
Splatoon,
The
yeah.
Splatlings and the Mario with the raccoon.
No, he was
no,
DLC.
Was he?
He was
Yes.
DLC.
Okay, I didn't think he was. Okay.
Who was it?
Villagers?
Villagers were DLC, Link was
Villagers.
DLC.
Dry Bones?
Isabelle.
Was it Dry Bones the other one?
Dry
Drybone Bowser.
Dry Bowser
Yes,
was
Dry
DLC.
Yeah.
No.
He was totally DLC.
Yeah,
No
he was in
way.
there. Yeah, he was. He was in there. I had him on the Wii U.
You're a Wii U.
Was it just? Did they just add 4? Because that's how many they had for the DLCs.
I kind of feel very insulted that you just said that to me.
What's that?
I'm a Wii U. I'm
He's
one of the worst selling consoles of all time.
He's a fan.
But not
Jesse,
bad.
you
I mean,
virtual boy.
I wouldn't mind. I
Oh
mean,
my
people
God.
sick and
So-
only seeing red. That's good enough for me. That's fine.
At D&D the other day, Zach turns to me and goes, "Do you know what a virtual boy is?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Did you know that it's terrible?" I was cracking up. I was like,
Yeah.
"You were like so late on that." He's like, "No, I just found out what it was, and it's awful." And I was like, "It's pretty good. You should try it." Like, wow.
I remember.
It's like that raccoon in the one commercial. Oh, this tastes awful. You got to try
Yeah,
some.
right.
I don't want any of that.
I remember when it came out, and my neighbor across the street got it, and me and my brother were so psyched to try it because we were waiting for this thing. 10 minutes, and that sucker, you just felt nauseous and didn't
right.
want to live anymore. Like, no, I'm really glad we didn't get this, actually.
Wow, this is where video games are going,
The
huh?
world is red and painful.
All 4 that sold.
Oh my God.
All right. So on that note, let's get started with
The news.
First
It's kind of
up,
our thing. Don't
yeah.
get mad.
No,
You know,
no
we
worries.
just say
I
the
like
news
it. I like
together.
it.
They bond so well.
It is weird.
We don't. We don't have a thing. Why don't we have a thing? I thought you loved me.
Why are you boring?
So to start, we will always start with movie news. We got 2 new trailers that came out this week.
Wonder Woman
Wonder Woman. Let's start with Wonder Woman.
looks so good.
It
I have
does.
been burned before. I will sing this to the heavens. I have been burned before. Batman vs Superman looked really good.
I can tell you, half your body is 3rd-degree burns.
It really is. If you
There's
saw
no
him,
ointment for that.
if you saw him
It's
right
okay,
now,
I-
he's quite hideous.
I've cured the wounds with salt. I'm fine.
Cured.
So what's your problem with this trailer? Apparently, you're already vocal enough that you should go first.
I really want it to succeed, as I have with every DC movie before it. I know that it has all of the makings to be good. I don't believe that they can do it well. Because DC wants to tell this grandiose story with a time limit. And that's their only problem.
I do agree that DC's problem, when you look at it, is they're trying to play catch up to Marvel instead of worrying about just establishing their own universe.
I do like
Right.
ketchup over mustard.
Oh, I hate yellow mustard.
Yeah.
Every time I think of yellow
What about
mustard, I
sweet
just want to suplex someone through a table.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Let us not forget that.
Lettuce.
Let us not forget that. Undertaker put someone in. No. It's like my favorite meme.
Okay. What'd you think, Marshall?
Give me Shazam. Where's my Shazam trailer?
Really?
I'm sorry, give me my Shazam trailer. Look, I like Wonder Woman. I don't know where all the hype has come from. Because it's like, she's not a new hero. So,
No.
so like, why has the hype for this movie just now been coming up when Superman and Batman have had so many movies, and I haven't heard all this hype about a Wonder Woman movie, and now it finally happens, and it seems so played. Like, I haven't heard about the Wonder Woman movie, even though it's been coming out. And I'm like, recently. Like, I mean, really recently. I just started seeing trailers, and everybody's like, yeah, Wonder Woman! And I'm like, look, we've known about this. Where is everything? What's going on? I like, seems lackluster. And the movie comes out soon, doesn't it?
Yeah,
2nd.
really soon. Yeah.
June 2nd?
Right. And you're just now seeing trailers and advertising sorts, and it's like, whoa, it's kind of strange.
We got our first teaser last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, last year we had our
It was like right after Batman Superman, right?
teaser.
You know, I feel
Yeah.
like watching this trailer, and I'm sorry to go next, not that I want to interrupt you, all of you, but I feel like watching this trailer, they kind of left a lot out because of how much they threw in the trailer for Batman v Superman. And what is disappointing because you got to know what's his face is in Ares, and he's nowhere in the trailer. So.
It honestly doesn't even look like a movie where he would exist.
Yeah,
And
Look,
it looks like a World War One movie.
It looks like she's just going to be fighting the Axis.
Oh, and I want to talk about the villain. They brought up Dr. Poison in the trailer. Whoa, what a sideline character. Like,
Well, I think they're trying to play her up because she's obviously not the main character. They have said Ares is the main villain
Right.
of that movie.
he's probably going to be like...
But I hope they don't
I'm
pull a
thinking
Doomsday.
I'm thinking he's the general in Ares.
Yeah, he's
The
that's
one that you
that's a
see in
demo.
What Are You? I think that's got to be Ares in disguise.
I
He's such a big actor for them to just be like, you're a German
Right,
general,
right.
that's it. Like,
Good point.
throw you in. And like I said, I agree with you. I think that they're trying to play off Dr. Poison as the main villain, even though she's probably
Yeah.
just a secondary character.
And I think to DC fans like us, we know that. We know that she's not big, so when you see someone like her on the screen, you're like,
Right.
what the hell are you doing? But to people who aren't big DC fans, which let's be honest, a lot of people aren't compared to Marvel, a lot of people see this and they're like, alright. But do you think people see this and go, that seems like a dumb character? And do you think that's going to be a deterrent for people to see this movie?
I think the fact that she's a woman is going to be a deterrent. I
Well,
feel like this is an uphill
wait.
battle.
I think
Wonder
it's going
Woman
to be both
or
sides.
Dr. Poison?
Dr. Poison as a villain.
I mean, is a dumb character.
But I mean,
But
I'm saying for the common person. We know. But
Yeah.
I'm saying for someone just looking at the movie as an aspect of a
We
movie.
just lost a subscriber. Somebody loves Dr. Poison. They're like, what?
right.
comes in full cosplay.
You know.
I am ready for this. I have waited
Open
years.
the door, they throw a gas bomb in here. Enjoy! I'm sorry!
Let us out.
It's just mist. I couldn't afford real poison.
It's fake.
Let me
No.
entertain my eyes.
I'm kind of tearing.
I'm gonna have to wash my
Toilet paper.
clothes.
So, are you excited for it still?
I'm really excited. I don't know about you, but watching the trailer, everything looks really great except for her costume, and I love that look for it. I think it's really nice. It's like makes her stand out compared to everything else. I think it's a cool idea. So, of course, I'm excited. I love Wonder Woman. I think she's a very underrated character.
I'm excited for it too, and
I just don't think it's going to do well because it's Wonder Woman, and
Yeah.
we couldn't even elect a female president, so like nobody's going to go see a movie.
Shots fired. I hope it does well. I really do, but I feel like they're trying to lean on the fact that it is a Wonder Woman movie. Like they're trying to play more to the female audience on this one.
They definitely
See, I think what they're trying to do with it is say, hey, we're doing this before Marvel, and they've been
I think that's the coolest thing. The Marvel's been sitting on
Marvel
big
has
female characters and has done nothing.
Black Widow, and they literally, and she's loved. Like people love Scarlett Johansson in that movie, and they're just like, no, we're not giving you a solo movie, which is surprising that DC is like, hey, Wonder Woman, you've been in literally 20 minutes of Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Here's your solo movie,
Right.
which I think it's a big step for DC, and if they can pull it off well, I think it's going to look good for them.
Well,
But-
I'm actually like here's the difference on how I think between Marvel. Marvel in their cinematic universe, at least, they set goals and they achieve them. I remember back in high school, I heard about them wanting to when Disney first acquisitioned them. They were talking more about bringing lesser known characters like Iron Fist. That was the big. I remember my dad showed me a newspaper article, and it was like Iron Fist was on it. And I was like, oh, Iron Fist, that's so cool. Why is he in the paper? And they were talking about it, like, we want to bring it. And now, all these years later, there's an Iron Fist show. That's so cool. Like, they set a goal and they achieved it. I think you're right. I think DC is playing catch up. And it's like Marvel sets goals and they achieve them. DC is trying to match that.
I feel like Marvel's problem, though, is lately, and if you look at a lot of their stuff, especially review-wise, the reviews have only been going down. They haven't been staying consistently up. They're not bad reviews, don't get me wrong, but they have been going down, and I think it's that people are getting tired of the same formula. Because if you look at a lot of the Marvel movies, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, it's really just take character A, swap it with character B. Here's this movie. Take character B, now put C in. The movies have the same flow and they kind of do the same thing. So you really can put any character in there. And the ones that are really memorable are the ones that really kind of step out of that, like Winter Soldier, Ant-Man, the first Guardians of the Galaxy, because those are movies
that could lead into something we're going to talk about later with Hellboy.
Yes, yeah.
Ooh, that's a big.
You're a Hellboy.
Whoa!
Don't talk about the horns, man.
So the next trailer we had was Blade Runner 2049. I'm actually really excited for it.
First, before you say anything, what was like the cameo in the trailer from Batista for like 40 seconds? He just looks at the camera like, I'm in here too. That was it. Like, I honestly feel like they just threw that in there to be like, by the way, Batista's in this movie.
I mean,
I don't even think you need Batista to bring anyone to that movie, honestly.
See, I don't know. I'm excited for it because I love the original Blade Runner. I know you're excited because you have a hard-on for Ryan Gosling.
God, that guy's so fucking gorgeous. He's such a good actor.
I can see it doing well. I mean, I see it doing well. I don't see it like doing amazing though.
I agree. I think it's going to be one of those things where people that are fans of the series are going to see it, and people who are fans of certain actors. Because I do think Ryan Gosling's name is growing to the point where he does have people who will go see a movie with him in it, just because he's in it. Dave Bautista I don't think is one of them. So showing him was a little weird to me because I did feel like they did that in hopes of like, hey, we have a guy from Guardians.
Yeah.
Come see our movie. And Harrison Ford is in it. So obviously he's going to pull people. Harrison Ford's a big name, and he's going to bring some people who are just fans of him.
He looks younger somehow than he did in Force Awakens, like when he aging backwards.
He does.
Death will do that to you, man. It's
He
really
started
helpful.
sucking blood again.
yeah, right.
Overall, though, I thought the trailer was actually really cool. I really liked it. I was excited.
Now, see, I'm the bias. I've never seen the original Blade Runner.
Okay.
So I was not. The only thing the trailer really showed me was that I am woefully unprepared to see this movie. Like I want to
There's
see.
no nostalgia for you.
We got a few hours. I got it upstairs on Blu-ray. Go ahead and throw it in there, buddy.
But I am like a schoolgirl in the '80s for Harrison Ford, so I'll probably go at least try to get into it and get to see the movie.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a remake we didn't need.
Really?
I feel like that Blade Runner as a single movie, it did well, it got its cult following, parents are showing it to their kids, and it's being well received even to this day. I feel like if they do it in today's modern age, they're going to do it similar to how they did the Judge Dredd remake. It came out, it did average, lukewarm, didn't make any real waves, and it just went away. Everyone still watches the original Judge Dredd, not the remake. I feel like it's going to leave a legacy like that. Everyone's going to watch the original Blade Runner, not this one.
I'm going to watch this one.
I mean, I know, but
I
like 10
actually
years
really
from
like
now.
Dredd, man. You know what I mean? I thought it was great.
I actually didn't like either Dredd, so I can't.
Really?
I'm sorry.
I kind of kept quiet about that. My voice was like, okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't like Judge Dredd. There's no.
Yeah, I don't have any interest.
You
in
know
it
what?
personally.
I'm biased. I like movies that take place in one day, act like 24-hour setups. And I always loved enclosed spaces for movies, like you know what I mean. That whole idea of they just have to make their way up this hotel was really cool concept.
The one thing I will
Like
say,
I see what you mean. I kind of feel that
An
same
enclosed
way
story.
sometimes. Yeah, right. Like
Good
you-
word use, man.
Right.
Maybe later I'll touch you.
Wow,
That's nice.
articulate.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So the one thing I will say about the new Blade Runner trailer that I really did like is that it does seem like they're setting it up for a new world. Like it's going to continue even after this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's going to depend on sales, but Harrison Ford says right to Ryan Gosling, "I had your job. You basically have taken my place," type of thing.
Right.
So as to if this is going to be a multi-movie sign or if it's just one and see where it goes, I'm interested. I want to see what they're going to do.
You think they're killing Harrison Ford off?
100%. That's like the new thing to do.
That's
now.
what I'm saying. It'd be so weird. It'd be
Did
like
it once. It's
Did
not
I
a
just-
big to do.
they did it like that's what I'm asking him. I feel like they kill him off.
Since
All right,
Did.
first, let me just put this out there. First, I'm gonna call it right now on the enthusiast. First, it was Star Wars, right? Next is Blade Runner. He's gonna die. Next, when they reboot Indiana Jones,
knew you
he
were gonna
is
say
gonna
that.
come back, and they're gonna kill him.
Okay,
And he's gonna, you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna pass the hat to the next guy.
who's gonna be the next guy though, man?
Oh, just do it.
It lands on a globe. And
Gotta
all
do it.
Indiana
It's gotta
Jones
do it.
now.
They cut him out of Transformers. They were like, look, here's the plan. No more Transformers. Indiana Jones.
I liked
Oh.
Crystal Skull. I am the minority on this, but I will be vocal. I enjoyed that
I didn't-
movie.
I was-
Oh man! See, there's this thing we had.
That is
That
handy.
bag.
Where's the Dr. Poison guy with the gas? Like, you can bring it in now.
I'm sorry, we forgot to. I forgot to tell you guys. So this corner, there's a bag hanging there. You
That's
guys see
bad
it.
ideas
That's
bags.
the bad ideas bag. But we're also going to say it's the bad opinions bag. So you can go. You can go drop yours.
I liked it. It was a cheesy, feel-good romp
I
of
will give you
excitement.
that, but
and
that
I
was my
enjoyed it.
issue with the film. Is like they knew that they were playing off the nostalgia, so they cheesed it up for you real bad. That movie.
A
Like,
grilled cheese that just felt good.
Look, man.
you know what annoys me about that movie, and it's gonna sound so weird. I hate the fact that aliens and God exist in that same franchise. It drives me crazy. Like it doesn't
yeah.
make sense to me. It's like you went all biblical the first three, and then aliens.
Okay.
So Kingdom of Crystal Skulls.
Well, speaking of aliens, let's move on to the next one.
I'm really excited about this.
I am too, for a couple of reasons. So, Edge of Tomorrow sequel has its title finally, and it's going to be Live, Die, Repeat, Repeat.
God, the movie was so good.
How do you feel about the title? Because they backed originally. The first one was going to be Live, Die, Repeat, and they backed out of that at the last second because they felt that the title wasn't good enough for people to go see it based on the
And
title.
apparently changed the title. People still didn't go see it anyway. I think that's why they don't care this time. They're like, you know what? We have a co-following. People are just going to see it because it's a sequel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And by this point, like the cheesiness of that first movie is what got people to really enjoy it. So play that up, absolutely.
I love that movie. Did you guys see it?
I didn't.
No. What?
I-
Really?
Oh, it's so.
I, at the time, was like, Tom Cruise shouldn't be getting work.
What?
Good. Ooh, Tom Cruise like one of my
Tom
favorites.
Cruise is one of my
Oh,
favorites.
God, I love
man.
him.
Not
I-
Have you seen that?
love him.
Hold on. Time out. I'm going to ask you a serious question, Logan. Have you seen him run? Because that man has the best running scenes in Hollywood I have ever seen.
If he's gonna do it in every movie, it better be the best damn running scenes you've ever seen.
If I want to see a 5'4" guy run, I'll go watch High School Track. I'm good.
What?
Tom Cruise is short, man.
He is short. He is short. But I will say, I think Tom Cruise is a really great actor, and I respect him. He's a weird guy in real life, but you know what? I don't ever base someone's life decisions and what they do on whether or not I like them as an actor. I'm not saying that's what you're doing.
I
There are a
just
lot
saw
of-
Oblivion and I was like, I have had enough. Thank you. I will be in the other.
I can understand that, but every actor I think has those horrible movies that they've done at some point or another.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to chalk that one up to the writing for Oblivion and not the acting.
But the fact that it's such a cheesy idea, it really is,
Yeah.
and he's so serious about it is what makes
He
that-
sold it.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes it very
And-
watchable.
I do think Tom Cruise is a very underrated actor, personally. You can disagree all you want,
I'll be silent.
but
Did you see Mission Impossible, the way he runs? Though? I mean,
Look at him.
What?
He's got goosebumps.
All right. I get it. But let me ask you something.
Okay.
Did you see him run down a building? The side of a building. Because let me tell you something. That was no stuntman. That was Tom Cruise.
and then he does it with that gorgeous hair too.
Oh,
man.
it's
Like,
so flowy and. Oh.
Again, I was arguing with somebody the other day, and he's like, "I can't believe he played Jack Reacher. Jack Reacher's tall in the movies." I'm like, "It's all right. Tom Cruise can be tall if he wants to." I understand he's like 5'3", but I think he's like 7 foot because
I just want you to know
Cruise.
that taller men stand on his shoulders to feel tall.
He's 5'3" by choice.
He actually will be returning to the movie for his role, and so will God, what's her name? I have it. Emily Blunt. For her badass role. She was actually awesome.
She was really awesome. I really like the fact that by the end of it they kind of switched. Like she was super tough. By the end of it, just
She was like the soft one.
Yeah.
He was the badass.
I mean, obviously they liked doing the film, but they both came back for it.
Yeah. Where do you think? Have you guys seen the movie? You haven't, Logan.
Nope.
Have you?
I walked out.
Oh.
I walked out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
Not for a reason. I got a phone call and something kind of happened, and I was like, it wasn't like an emergency. That's like my gripe with it. It was like I got a phone call and I was like, am I really committed to this? Man, do I really want to sit through this movie? And I was like, I don't even want to really be here. And I like told my friend, I was in a group of people, and I was like, hey man, I kind of gotta go. And I was like, they were like, yeah, don't worry about it. Something came up, and I was like, yeah, sort of. And I went to Six Flags.
Six Flags.
Yeah, that was what happened.
a good enough excuse.
No, it isn't,
I
man.
didn't want to tell anybody. I
Edge
was
Tomorrow is enough of a ride for you. It's a roller coaster of emotion.
we did not get very far into the movie, so like one friend in the group later on was like, "Why did you even spend the money to do that?" And I was just like, because Six Flags was free. That was like I was like, I spent $20 on a movie, but I get to go to Six Flags for free. Maybe this was worth it.
If you get a chance to go back, I definitely recommend.
Soda can. They had an extra can.
Yeah.
That's what I was
He says if you have a chance to go back to Six Flags, man. Go.
No. Go back and watch that movie. It's actually, I'd say it's probably one of the gems on Tom Cruise's
See, this is now what kind of sucks though, because I really wanted to get into the ending and they haven't seen it, so it's...
Well, we can't.
Doesn't it just start over?
Shut up. Shut your dirty mouth.
Logan, if you ever talk again, I'm going to punch you in the throat. Alright.
Can I just share one thing? The synopsis came out for it, though, so apparently this sequel is going to be a prequel/sequel, which I think is really awesome.
That is pretty cool.
So I'm really excited to watch it. Maybe we're going to have to watch it like Lion King 1.5. I don't know the order it goes into. I kind of just throw one of them on and hope for the best.
At least it's not a reboot.
There it is.
Speaking of reboots, Hellboy
Oh my god,
is getting a reboot.
I'm so excited for this.
Really?
I have a bunch of Hellboy comics. I love Hellboy.
So it's funny because you're a big fan of Hellboy.
I did like the movies, not the comic books as much. But
I have the comics
the
as
movies.
well. I do enjoy the movies a lot. I really like the comics. You a fan, Logan?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed both of them.
Ron Perlman played him.
The
Ron
second
Perlman's
movie
amazing.
was just amazing. The second
Army?
Hellboy.
I honestly
It was-
think,
it was-
in my opinion, that is the greatest superhero sequel I've ever seen, which was Golden Army.
Superhero?
Yeah.
You mean comic book movie? Because we've had this discussion before.
Comic
That when I
movie.
say superhero
Yeah,
or
screw
Hellboy,
that.
you're kind of like, oh, what's this
Okay, let me
superhero?
rephrase
Okay,
that.
our one friend argues that Fast and the Furious is a superhero movie, so like I don't even know what my definition of that is anymore.
A film
Transformers
based
is a
on
love
a
story,
comic,
David.
I think Golden Army is by far the best sequel.
Okay.
I expect. Just because to me it topped the first film.
Wow,
Two,
that's pretty good actually.
it just
You might be right.
it tops the first film. It's
Such
brave.
great choreography too.
It's super brave. The first one's like Nazis, and they're like, you know what? Let's just fight some fairies and elves in the second one. Let's do it, and it works.
Get some woodland creatures and the mob.
Here's the everybody's wanted to punch an elf in the face. Here's your chance to.
And talk about committing to a role like Ron Perlman just committed. Like I really think
That's
he's a demon. Like he plays that role so well.
That's actually the biggest gripe that I've seen from fans. Ron Perlman not seeing it,
Yeah.
and I was like, no, Ron Perlman is gonna actually hurt this movie a little bit. Like it's gonna draw back.
It's gonna be like another Jared Leto. Like no matter how good you are at your part,
You won't be Ron.
you're
Well-
not gonna be.
Okay, let's talk about that then. David Harbour. I'm sorry, why did I say Halber?
He got fat for Stranger Things.
He is going to be taking on the role. How do we feel?
Question: are they going to do makeup or the CGI? And we have no idea yet, do we?
We don't.
I think
so,
I think I saw. It might have just been artwork, but I think I saw somebody who had a poster that made it look. It did not look like Ron Perlman's Hellboy. It looked like a way skinnier from the comics looking Hellboy, and I was like, "Wow, if that's what it is. That's
It's going to be
close."
tough again. You do makeup, everybody's like, "This is not Ron Perlman's. It looks like I hate this." Like
Hellboy may cry.
Yeah, right. No.
and if they're smart, they will stay away from the original franchise. Like make your plot completely different.
Yeah.
Don't touch on it. Don't even make a
but
joke.
that's
that
also
doesn't
hard
reboot.
because the first movie was pretty close to the first comic, I would
Yeah.
say. So it's kind of hard because now it's like, all right, well, do we go by the comics and then risk being close to the movie, or do we do our own thing and risk people saying that was nothing like the comics? The nice thing though about Hellboy is the world was kind of already established by the time he's old enough to do anything. So
Yeah.
you can kind of do the beginning part of the movie the same, where the doctor has to find him as
Correct.
the kid. But after that point, I guess you can kind of go off and do whatever you want.
Be honest, I feel like you don't even need to do that. I feel like starting halfway into his life would be interesting. Just start a thread, maybe go a little bit into backstory, but just focus on some point in his life. Like,
They have a chance to introduce a couple of mistakes that they made that I think really hindered them in the long run. Like in the original two Hellboy movies, it's like he's not known in the world, which is not true in the comic books.
Yeah.
By the time Hellboy has been introduced as part of the BRPD, or BPRD,
Bless you.
he's I know, he's an established character in the world. Nobody's kind of like oh my god, like he's a demon. Everybody knows who Hellboy is. It's like seeing Superman at this point. You know the red demon means it's Hellboy, and everybody he even interacts with people. That's not true in the movies. They hide him. It's like nobody's ever seen him before. But the time frame doesn't make sense. In the comic books, that happens in like the 60s. He's been introduced for a long time.
Right.
In the comics or in the movies that starred Ron Perlman, it's like more modern times that he's still not introduced. And it's like, okay, that's kind of strange. I think these new movies have a chance to kind of address that. Now you can have him be more like a public defender in a way, which is kind of what he's known for.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I do think that David has the body type for the role. He's really tall. I think he's more of a towering guy, which Hellboy himself is one of the bigger characters of the comics, besides the giant demons he fights.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, compared to the rest of the members of the police squad, I'm not saying that.
even like a 6 foot tall merman, he's still taller than. So
he's
pretty big.
So he's big. I definitely think that they got, for height wise, they got a good guy. My question is, can they bulk him up enough to look intimidating? And if they do makeup, I think that's the best way to go right now. I think doing practical effects.
Practical effects always works, but like it's what everybody does is CG, man. Like I really feel like that's where they're gonna go.
It's cheaper now,
and it's a lot of work.
Cheaper.
It's a lot of work to do practical effects for that specifically.
I mean, that was one of the reasons why Ron Perlman was so hesitant to come back for 3 was just how much the makeup took, how it was really hard on him, all that. Like, look what they did with Fantastic Four. That crappy practical effects in the first 2. In the reboot, they went and CGI'd it. It's also a little crappy.
I was just gonna say
equally as crappy.
Yeah,
but
wasn't any better. But another thing that I really enjoyed about the Hellboy in the comic books was it's creepy. It's dark. There's omens and there's like Lovecraft elements. And I liked that about, there were 2 animated shorts called Blood and Iron and Sword of the Storms. Both of them were creepy. Blood and Iron specifically, there's like all these like blood weeping ghosts and coffins that like, there's blood coming out of the coffins and they open it and there's nothing in there. It's like sudden, quick movements, like all these really, it's creepy. And
so you want more of a horror?
Well, that's actually what I was going to say. You just brought that up. It actually is a horror.
Right.
They said that it's going to be a horror movie with and it's going to be rated R.
It's only rated R because of Deadpool and
I kind of agree.
Come on, man, Deadpool and Logan. And then when they did it with Logan and it made money too, they're like, we're good.
That's all the convincing.
Everything's gonna be rated R, and the next X-Men's gonna be rated R for goodness sakes.
Hold on, we can kill off Wolverine, and people will still watch it. Oh, nobody told us that.
We could have done this years ago.
Whoa, we were thinking about that a long time ago.
how much we're gonna kill off all of our franchise.
You thought we were gonna do X3? We didn't know we could kill people like that. Oh my god.
And we got a special guest. Hey, buddy.
Let's see, what else did we have? Oh, but do you guys think it's good to come out with this movie now? I mean, we have all this Marvel and DC stuff coming out.
I don't see it doing well, only because, like he said, there's going to be people that just love Ron Perlman's Hellboy, and they're not going to want to see it because of that. And I feel like he's not a huge character for, a huge rolling character for people to come in, and see. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't think Guardians was going to do well. My bad.
I think it's probably going to do on par with the Ghostbusters reboot. It's going to be
bad.
I didn't say good quality-wise.
I think I'm sorry. I actually take your same points as a reason that it's going to be good, because I think no Ron Perlman is a hurtful thing, but I think to kind of counter that, it's not as big as Ron Perlman, but to kind of counter that, people who are a fan of Stranger Things, and there are fans of Stranger Things, whoa.
Stranger Things has blown up.
I think they're going to see it because someone's going to tell them, hey, did you hear? The dude from Stranger Things is going to be in Hellboy. That's enough of a reason.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Just like Ron Perlman not being in it is the reason not to go see it. I think it kind of works both ways. And much like we were talking about earlier with the copy-paste formula, Hellboy isn't like that. He was that's why everybody remembers those movies. It was so weird and different from like the normal superhero formula, which was kind of, getting bigger at the time.
Yeah.
Hellboy doesn't follow that same formula. He's not this copy-paste hero, and that's kind of how Dark Horse does their things.
But unfortunately, the DC movies, I would say, they take a lot of risks with what they do in their movies compared to what Marvel does in theirs.
Right.
And it kind of hurts them.
It hasn't worked out. As
so
much.
it's kind of like, well,
It is tough. I mean, that's probably one of the best things about the original Hellboy movies is they mixed action and comedy so well. People enjoyed it. It felt like Marvel movies before Marvel movies.
yeah. Which now is kind of the problem, though. It's like, do they have to do a Marvel thing to be successful? And it's like, I would say no, but the box office, as of late, has said otherwise. It's like, if you're not Marvel, you're not going to get the sales that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I still think with like how weird Stranger Things. There's a lot of weird shows coming out recently. Like not. Like,
People are like getting hooked. Yeah, I agree with
they
that.
are in that horror-ish kind of mood. I think like a more Lovecraftian style Hellboy might be like, hey, this is kind of like Stranger Things, and it's got that Stranger Things dude in it too.
I think he's got an excellent point. With, like in the '90s when I was growing up, there was a bunch of TV shows that were all about odd couples, so that's what the movies reflected, and they all did well. So, like he's saying now, it's. I was going with Dharma and Greg kind of thinking because we're '90s.
Stay woke, Adam's Family.
Sit down for yourself. So I think he's true. There is a lot of sci-fi shows doing well, Westworld and Stranger Things and anything on CW pretty much.
I gotta bring Westworld up a little bit later on another topic that we're talking about.
We can actually. Westworld has the same director as this new Hellboy movie.
The new
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. So the new Hellboy movie, their director is Neil Marshall, which he directed some of the episodes for Westworld. He directed some of the episodes for Game of Thrones. Hannibal, which is one of my favorite television series.
He's in his element.
Yeah.
But the movie-wise, the only thing that he's done that's really been good was The Descent.
Oh, I like The Descent. It was a good movie.
I didn't hear that.
I haven't seen it. I heard it was good, but I haven't seen it.
Gave you this look like he wasn't looking at you, but looking at the object behind you to see if he could put you through it.
I thought Descent was good, but I love B horror movies, and this would have felt like a B horror movie. But if it has that Descent vibe, yeah, I'm kind of down for that.
Okay, I'm more into his television stuff he's done. If it's more like that, I'd probably feel like I could get more into it. Hannibal's one of my favorite television series, although it got canceled. Bring it back. Hashtag cancel.
I honestly, in my opinion, this whole franchise depends on the trailer. How well that trailer's cut, and how well they advertise it. Because, to be honest, nobody heard of Guardians of the Galaxy. Had an amazing trailer, and everybody went and seen it.
And
remember
it might be because Hellboy is a little less known, and I have to kind of accept that there are not a lot of people who read the Hellboy comics, but there are.
I played that terrible game for PlayStation 1.
I did too.
Oh, it was awful.
It was a great time.
There's another one on PS2.
It was horrible.
The PS3 one was so much better than the PS1.
It was horrible.
He played like
best memories.
He played like Resident Evil, and like all the cutscenes, he had his famous jacket on. But for the actual gameplay, he was like butt naked with shorts. And he played like Resident Evil. It was so bad.
I love playing bad games like that sometimes, though. I look back and I'm just like, man, I want to just hate myself today. But they got away with things in those Hellboy movies that, like, they would not get away with in Marvel movies, for example. Like, I remember in the first Hellboy movie, I think in both Hellboy movies, Hellboy and Liz are like, they have a child together. At the end of the...
She gets pregnant at the end of Golden Army.
Yeah. They don't even talk like that in the comic books. They're friends. They don't. They're not love interests in the comics at all. In fact, there's more of a bromance between Hellboy and Abe than they showed in the movies. So they got away with some things in both of those.
Because people didn't know
because of that. And something that kind of worries me is, if you're a long-time reader of Hellboy, you know that eventually Abe Sapien breaks away from the Hellboy comics because the BPRD gets their own kind of spin-off, and he's in that.
Yeah.
And that helps him follow his story. And now I'm kind of wondering, okay, they could take that and give Hellboy a story a little bit later and not introduce Abe or Liz.
Oh yeah, like make it a kind of an already established universe,
right? And they could do like a solo shoot of just Hellboy.
That's a good idea, because then you wouldn't have to, you're already recasting Ron Perlman. Now you'll have to recast these other two characters, which people enjoyed anyway.
Also, the dude who played Abe in the original ones was well received.
I agree.
They were like, Abe doesn't really do the whole psychic thing in the comic books as much. He does have that, but he doesn't do it as much. And people loved it. They were like, oh, that's dope. They did that little thing from him really cool. And it's like, okay. So both of these were well received. Should they really rewrite 2 well received characters?
Yeah.
Maybe a solo Hellboy shoot would be much better.
Let's move on to some gaming news. So it looks like Red Dead Redemption 2 might have some competition this holiday.
Oh, what's the competition, man?
Apparently, rumors say that Far Cry 5 is actually also going to take place in the Wild West.
Before we start this off, what was the first question you asked my good friend when he came over today?
Why would Far Cry want to contest that? I'm sorry. Like, that's why I wanted to bring Westworld up again. Like, I feel like the director of this Far Cry just really liked Westworld. Like, come on, dude. If you knew this was
I
happening.
agree with him. Like, I don't even think this is a competition. Like, are you kidding me?
I
I know people that didn't like video games like play Red Dead Redemption 2. It's amazing.
I know, right?
Everybody likes that game, man.
It's like, dude.
My mother likes that game. Oh, happy Mother's Day, by the way.
Oh, yes, Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
Mother's Day.
You know what? But yet, here's what I'm going to say. I do agree that I don't think it's a competition. I think in Ubisoft's head, they're thinking if we can even take sales from Red Dead and, either go toe-to-toe with it, that's an accomplishment to them. Because you know what I mean? If Red Dead 2, which let's be honest, Red Dead, although it was well received, it didn't sell as well as Grand Theft Auto.
Agreed.
Sold better than L.A. Noire.
Nobody bought it. But if you
But
look
not
at the
better-
sales, it eventually started catching
It
up
did. It
because
did.
of the fact of the word of mouth. Because I didn't play it for the first year until somebody was like, "You never played Red Dead? What's wrong with you?"
I got Red Dead, I think, the 3rd week it was out, because someone talked it up to me, and I'm just such a sucker for Rockstar games. I don't even like them, usually. Like,
At that point, I think I had like 2 children already.
Everyone is always like, oh, hey, try Grand Theft Auto. What do? I buy Grand Theft Auto. I'm like, all right, this doesn't do anything for me. But I really actually enjoyed Red Dead because my problem with Grand Theft Auto is it takes place in a world that I already exist in. I don't see anything new. It's kind of boring to me to see skyscrapers and stuff because I'm just like, I can see that already if I go to New York, or if I want to see a jerk walk down the street and bump into me, I go to New York.
Yeah, but I think that was
In New York, I could walk outside.
And I get that.
Some jerk will bump into me.
It's basically like, so I can do things in that game that I can't really do in real life.
like shoot that jerk in the face.
Yeah, but
Right.
I always play
I mean-
games as the good guy, so I don't just go into a street and shoot people. Like maybe I just don't play Grand Theft Auto to the fullest extent of fun. That
I think
it
that's
comes
the
with.
issue with it. Because I agree with you. I like playing as a good guy, but when it comes to Grand Theft Auto, I'm a criminal.
And then in Red
Shoot 'em up.
Dead, I loved Red Dead because I was a cowboy, and I'm like, I'm not a cowboy in real life.
I'm not sure, really.
Mr. Logan,
I'm not a
do you wanna
cowboy.
do you like being a cowboy?
I could be a cowboy.
You can be a cowboy.
I don't want to be a cowboy.
I like
But
being
you
a cowboy.
played Red Dead. That's the point I'm trying to make here.
It is. My issue is
He didn't want to be a cowboy and he still was a cowboy.
You brought it up earlier. You said that Far Cry, there is people that are going to be like, oh, Far Cry is going to be better than Red Dead.
Yes.
Yeah, but there is a small,
I do agree that.
small
So
margin, like-
here's what I'm going to say in Far Cry's defense. I platinumed Far Cry 4. I loved Far Cry 4.
Right.
I couldn't get off that game. I've never felt that way about a Rockstar game. Even Red Dead that I loved, I did get to a point where I was kind of like, I just want to finish it. It wasn't like, oh, I wish this never ended. Whereas while I had so much fun playing Far Cry that I didn't want to stop. I'm hoping Red Dead 2 can bring that in for me. Like, I'm hoping Red Dead 2 while I play it, and I don't know if I will. God, I hate that you mimic my hand gestures. Throws me off. I don't want to play Red Dead 2 and feel this open world fatigue. Because there's so many open worlds, I don't want to go into it instantly and be like, God, I have to travel how far?
Dragon Age.
Not
The
doing
newest
this.
Dragon Age. Oh my god. I got bombarded like really early on in Dragon Age. I was like, this is taxing.
Yeah.
Whoa, this is way too much at once.
Because it seems like we're going to get a Far Cry game every year now. Because last year we got Primal, year before that
No,
we
no,
got
Other
no.
Primal
It's,
too, by the way.
it's every other year.
I bought.
every other year.
You,
Every-
oh, you're the
I
one.
was supposed to- so-
I was the one who bought.
You were the one
I,
that bought
I
it.
got Primal as well.
Oh,
I
I
actually
we got the
liked
two.
Well, I got Primal because, like I said before, I loved Far Cry 4 so much. Primal didn't do it for me.
And it didn't
that's
do
my
anywhere near the
fear.
sales of
Here-
4 either.
No.
Here's my problem
And
with
that's
that.
another one
That's-
with 5.
that's my
If they
fear with
go
it.
Western with 5, it's
Well,
good.
I can say something about Far Cry Primal at the very end of this that will tie into our next subject too. But I agree, and I think 5 they do need to put it in a setting that's very that's alive. It needs to feel alive. Like I can't just be. And I'm curious how they're going to do that with the West. Like Are you going to make me shoot Indians? Because that might cause a problem too. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's a lot of things that people are going to complain.
The only way I
if
can
I'm shooting
see...
Native Americans, you're going to have this group of people who are like, oh.
What? That didn't really happen, man. I thought you were a history guy.
I am a history
guy.
No,
Indians
it
were
doesn't
really
matter if it really happened. It's a fictional
You
game.
realize we
They could put aliens in Far Cry 5.
Okay, all
They
I'm saying...
might, actually.
To
I
me,
mean,
that's how you
Bigfoot?
make Far Cry 5 stand out. You make it really historical. Like make it... At the end of the day, most cowboys were black or Mexican. Make it stand out that way. And watch the sales do well like 4 to 5 months after its release because you went head to head with Red Dead, and that wasn't a good idea. Like,
look, it happened with Overwatch and what was it?
The other game no one cares about.
Battleborn.
Look, if Battleborn would have came out, first of all, I
year
didn't even
ahead.
know Gearbox made that.
Yeah.
That was like...
You love Gearbox.
I do like Gearbox. I think Gearbox... I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Alien Clothing Marines exist. But, like, Gearbox did that as well. So that was a big mistake. But I do think that Gearbox puts out good titles. And I thought if maybe a year later, or a year earlier, they would have blown up.
I do think Gearbox needed to stay as clear from Overwatch as possible, and they made the mistake of going head-to-head with it.
Right.
And I do think
Far
the
Cry's gonna
same...
make the same
I think
thing.
Far Cry is going to make the same mistake too, but I think Ubisoft feels like... I think Ubisoft in their head is like someone needs to take Rockstar down a peg. Because Rockstar honestly is one of the top developers, in my opinion, in the industry.
Right.
I would say it's Rockstar and Naughty Dog are probably the top two.
Ubisoft has a shotgun kind of advertising.
Ubisoft has a lot of great titles, but lately the problem I feel like is they've been pushing them out so fast that they come out with these bugs. Ubisoft is now known for their bugs than they are for the quality of their games.
Right.
Which I think is a problem. And I feel like that might be something that people think about when they do think, hey, do I want Far Cry 5?
Yeah, they're not always smash hits.
I feel like you've seen this before.
And where's my Splinter Cell, Ubisoft?
I've seen it before, and every time I've seen it, one of them is amazing, the other one is just never heard of. Infamous and Prototype.
Infamous was the winner there.
Yeah.
And what amazed me, though, about that is
Smash.
it was a PS3 exclusive. Infamous was only on one console, and it outweighed the game that was on both.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Not only that, when they try to come up with a sequel, Infamous released DLC, and it still destroyed Prototype
Right.
sequel. Like,
And my friend
Yeah.
kind of summed the Prototype game up for me. He was like, I feel like in 10 years this could be a Flash game. And I was like, shit.
two things about that. One, your friend's right. Two, you have friends. That's crazy. That's weird.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Friends,
that's
that's just, I'm just having a conversation.
Oh, this is so weird because I wanted to make you laugh. Instead, you just got emotional. That was awkward. So,
not everyone's like me who just laughs at your insults.
and
Here's
cries later on.
Here's my problem. So you're talking about Far Cry Primal, how it didn't hold the same weight, but you had such a high opinion of 4.
Yes.
So that weight was like, it may have seemed like a worse game because I liked 4 and I
think
didn't like Primal as much.
3 was the best. I think we can.
Yeah.
Far Cry 3,
I like
in my
3 and I
opinion,
loved 3's
was the
DLC.
best.
For me, Blood Dragon did everything for
But
me. I like a good 80s
I
shoot.
didn't really get too into Blood Dragon,
Yeah,
but I did really enjoy 4, and
I definitely preferred 3 over 4.
Primal.
That's why I couldn't finish 4 is because how much I like 3.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And
Like I said,
3
3 in my opinion
you're
is
still
the
on an
best.
island in 3, right?
Yeah.
You know, so 4 was the first one to kind of break that because 1, 2, and 3 all took place on islands, kind of in the
What was
Mediterranean.
4 on?
You were in Kirat, which
Yeah.
was its own nation.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
So,
But it still was that whole
whole.
jungle idea, and that's what took me away from 4, and I was like, I played this.
Right.
Literally just
I can
played it.
understand that.
Mhm.
And maybe that's why they decided to go with the West. Maybe they're like, hey.
Like I said,
Maybe that's just
I
bad
definitely
luck.
will pick up if they make a Western just because I love Western games. I'll definitely pick up Far Cry. My issue, and I think most people are saying this, is I won't pick it up for 6 months to a year, and so I'm done.
I think the only way they have a chance
Yep.
of beating, and I don't even. This is honestly like a really far stretch. They have to release this game in September, because Red Dead's going to come out in November. Because Red Dead like Rockstar, I feel like loves to just mess with Activision.
That was when the.
I feel like
First of all, Red Dead released a color, and the Rockstar logo, and the internet freaked out. They were like, "It's Red Dead! It's Red Dead!" It's like that happened in the course of a day.
I agree.
And then they released this trailer that was like
Nothing. There was nothing really in the
Oh
trailer,
my
but everyone was
God.
still like, "Wow."
everybody was like, "Look at those graphics! Oh my
That's
god!"
just 7 guys.
So it's like okay, Rockstar basically is sitting there like, yes, baby birds, we'll feed you. Don't worry. And Far Cry's like, look, we're gonna take you down a peg. Like,
we got steak
it's like-
potatoes over here.
it's like David versus the Goliath right now, and I really want David to step up, but at the same time, I'm like, look, dude, that thing's about to smack the shit out of you.
I do. I feel like the day it comes out, there's a guy at GameStop, maybe even Logan, gonna be sitting there. Somebody's gonna be like, "Can I get Far Cry 5?" Logan's gonna be like, "Wow,
Don't you want Red Dead?
so retro of you, man. Good luck with this." Why he walks that lonely journey home like.
I kind of hope, just for comedy's sake, they release it the same day. Like, I hope. I just want to hear. And you know why I want this? This is why I want this. I want to see the lines for midnight releases, which are honestly getting smaller and smaller thanks to digital. But that's besides the point. I want to see the line and that one guy that's by himself in the Far Cry 5.
I can already see the
memes.
memes. They're gonna take the Obama versus Trump inaugural speeches, and they're gonna be like, Red Dead, Far Cry.
I've seen that line
Stop.
because when everybody went in for the Master Chief Collection Xbox One, I was picking up Sonic Boom. Okay?
When-
I was
I'm
by
sorry.
myself.
So sorry.
Wear a Sonic t-shirt.
Alright, hold up. I think I might have one to beat that.
No.
The day the Xbox One came out, there was a huge line of guys. I was first in line. And everyone was like, yo, you getting your Xbox One? I was like, no. They're like, what are you getting? I was like, the new 3DS for the Zelda just came out. With A Link Between Worlds. That
was a great
special edition
game.
came out that day. Everyone was in line for Xbox. One dude was like, yo, can I cut you so I can be the first one to get an Xbox? I was like, you're still the first one to get an Xbox.
Don't you worry, sir.
I'm just first in line. As soon as I came out, I held up. I was like, "Woo!" And one of the guys was like, "Yeah!" And then he looked at me. He was like, "What the?"
What the fuck?
But it was terrible because I'm in line for Sonic and everybody's like talking about the Master Chief Collection. And this, you know, you always have that one at midnight. He's like, "Hey, I got mine. They're already sold out." Ha. And I was like, "Jackass, I'm here for Sonic." And he was so confused. He didn't know what to do. He was like, "Why are you here?" I don't even know, man. Because I want Sonic.
I had some
Look at
free
yourself
time.
like you're sad that you said that to him. I shouldn't have said anything.
Oh, that game was terrible, by the way. Just in
Oh,
case
God,
anybody
yes.
needs to know, the game was awful.
I-
the resident.
Stop! Don't touch me.
He's so. My poor Sonic fan.
Sonic fans, how you doing,
He-
man?
he
Such
bought-
a
We're
great
dying
dog.
Oh, you
people.
guys are the ones that, the only ones,
We're
right?
dying.
I bought
Crazy.
Sonic Boom. We're the only. Aaron played mine on Game Grumps.
You guys are gonna go-
I'm convinced.
You guys are gonna go extinct with actual hedgehogs. Like.
When that jumped into that, so do Sonic fans.
So he actually brought me for my birthday last year.
To play Sonic.
He bought me a Sega Genesis from a local video game shop with the original Mortal Kombat. And, no.
Mortal Kombat 3.
Mortal Kombat 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. Which is so weird because when I was like a 7-year-old kid,
You love those games.
I had a Sega Genesis, the same one he brought me, with just those games. So it was like, because I only recently have met Logan. We're like,
I
we've
think
known
it's
each
like a
other-
2-year relationship now.
and
Jesus.
it's like it's so strange because I never brought that up. So it's so weird that he brought that to me. And
Is it weird, though?
I mean, if you want to hear weird, he used to watch me when I was a child.
That is true.
He,
Developing a friend from a kid.
he used to watch me when I was. Context, please.
He used to work
like.
I was working at, well, it was actually Software Etc. when I started with it. Then it switched over to GameStop. Zaba used to come in.
I was like, every week I was in there. And some of the way
And I got screamed at by his mother twice.
Good for you.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Because,
Third time I set up another employee was like, "You're getting this one."
Because my mom,
I know what's coming.
my mom didn't care what I played, and she hated if I went in there to buy a rated M game and they were like, "Can you go get your mom?" My mom used to get furious. She was like, "How many times do I have to tell these people you can just get whatever? I do not care. Just get it." And then I would. So Jesse one time was like, "You have to get your mom." I was like,
No.
I was like
Are you
No,
sure
don't
you
do-
want to do that?
and
He's
I
just
feel
shaking his head
Is that-
slightly.
And I feel like when I say that to people, though, they think it's because, like, I want the game and they think my mom's going to yell at me.
Right.
No. My mom's going to come in here and be like, if you don't remember that he's okay to get whatever he wants, I'm going to come in here and tear your head off. But one time he set up one of his own
Yeah, I
employees
did.
to ask me.
Freddie was like,
Or my mom.
This kid Freddie, he was like,
And I think he
They're hiding, like-
and I
he
think
was
he
like, "What am
went,
I dealing with you?" And I'm not 18. Oh, I need your mother. And I was like, And I had put a note in the computer. He can buy whatever he wants. And I watched the Magic with Fred. She gave it to him the worst. His hair was all disheveled.
Your events to stop your plea. Freddie, no. Don't do that.
So to lead into the next topic, though, I'm going to just say something about Far Cry Primal. I think one of the things that really deterred people from Far Cry Primal was that they didn't speak English.
Oh, yeah.
You had to read everything.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind. I think I'd rather something be accurate than just, they're going to speak English.
Paper Mario is my favorite game. That game is literally all text.
Which leads me, though, to the new Assassin's Creed, that we've got a lot of information that leaked, but it's going to take place in Egypt. I'm curious if Far Cry Primal, and I've said this before on the podcast to you, if Far Cry Primal was a test to see if players are willing to play a game without English voices. Mm-hmm. Because there's no explanation for why someone should be speaking English in Egypt.
I mean, Italy.
But depending on the time period, even then they weren't speaking English. First off, that would be like
yeah, I know,
Italian. But Italy wasn't even Italy back then. It was just a bunch of different broken up.
But I can almost guarantee they didn't speak English.
If anything, it would have probably been a Roman dialect of some sort.
Right.
Depending on the time period, because it could either take place when the Christians invaded Egypt, or it could be when Islam invaded Egypt.
Billy, your degree is showing.
Wait, my son's down here, man.
Come on, man, put that away. What's wrong with you?
Honestly, I feel like it's gotta have English in that. I feel like if they do subtitles, it'll hurt. First off, Assassin's Creed ain't been on the up and up lately. Syndicate was great.
Thank you. My one. Oh my god.
I agree. Syndicate, in my opinion, is what brought it back to a good quality game.
Not sales-wise, though.
But that's the problem. People were so burned by Unity, people didn't want to buy Syndicate.
And you know what's a shame? A lot of people cut their losses at 3. They were like, 3 is where I'm going to cut it. I know a lot of people who did that, and they gave Unity a chance. And I was like, did anybody play Black Flag?
I liked Black Flag.
Did anybody play Black Flag?
Black
Flag, I could hunt whales. Like, come on, man. Like, I've never said that with enthusiasm.
I did that in front of my wife.
Careful.
I called it.
PETA hasn't come after us yet. Just
look, man, Ubisoft's already going to send you a cease and desist letter for letting their business plan out about Red Dead, okay? So you got enough problems in this episode.
This is true.
I remember hunting a whale at Black Flag. My wife came in and watched me do it. She's like, "What are you doing?" Actual tears. Really? Oh, he's a digital whale.
I'm reliving history, sweetheart.
But no, I agree with it. I think Black Flag was great.
Stop! No! Why?
I think Black Flag is great. I'm even excited about this one. But I do think when you're on the fence right now with your sales, you need to not check any chances.
Well, here's
ambition
one
is not your friend.
What do you guys really like about Black Flag?
What I like about Black Flag, Edward as a character.
Did you like
ship
combat?
Hang on. I wanna.
You didn't like the ship combat.
No, I did
Did
not.
you like ship combat?
I did. I thought they did it well.
Okay.
I thought they did it better than 3. but that's not
Apparently,
difficult.
we can already tell from the screenshots that leaked, boats are coming back. Probably not combat boats. It looks like he's just rowing.
Just a form of travel.
He's just a little. Well, I mean,
Hopefully you
it'd be
can
weird
swim.
if they had cannons. I guess.
So we saw the Nile River. We saw a couple screenshots. I sent them to you guys.
What are this game's doing while they're in the Nile?
Doors right there.
Bad idea.
Hopefully they're going upriver with this one.
You know what? I'm sorry. It was my cue to leave.
I'm sorry. Did I agree to do this? We're done. Let's go, Logan.
We're done.
Okay.
We're now signing the release form.
Yeah, but we're not punching your parking card.
Not validating my parking. Oh, I'm sorry.
You wanted to leave?
Darn, I guess I'm
Either
staying.
way, though, are you going to give this one a shot since the last one was actually pretty decent?
Here's my thing. It's tough in almost any situation to do anything in Egypt without touching gods.
I mean, that's kind of what Assassin's Creed has been doing anyway.
Give me something in Egypt that you've not heard about. Ra or Anubis.
Sand.
Or Get Out. or
if you guys saw on the thing, we do know that a famous queen is going to be in the game.
Right.
If you look at the text in the top, it does say her name.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you're going to her. So we kind of have an idea of a time period. I think the gods are obviously going to have to be in it, though.
Of course.
And they try to keep things... The one thing I do respect Assassin's Creed for is they keep things historically accurate. The things that they always kind of mix up, though, are the people who you assassinate are people that died, but they never said how they died in real life.
Correct.
Right.
Like they died from a mysterious way. So the way that you're doing
The only
it is
time-
this is the secret history that we don't know.
Right.
Right.
The only thing they do have people that actually die, but they do often kill them in the wrong year.
Yes.
And they do it, but like you said, it is at least 6 people actually died.
And you know, I have to think.
I mean, for how
to
old
give
they are, I hope
Ubisoft
they
their
died.
credit. I like to give bad credit and good credit where it's due. So to give Ubisoft their credit, I'm sorry. If they didn't make a game where they kind of had to fidge things a little bit, people would complain. They'd be like, well, these time frames just don't make any sense. I mean, okay, yeah, I agree with you. You know, like, if the people who were getting assassinated were literally 40 years apart, like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to play a 40-year later assassin.
You start off 17 and end the game at
57.
Right.
Oh, hang on.
Right, I'm sorry. It's just so yeah. If you have to fidget a little bit, I get it. But and you know they say that in the beginning of the game. They say some of the names and locations that we use are based on historical facts. It's like they're not telling you that this happened exactly.
They're not
this way.
Texas
See,
Chainsaw Massacre.
now
Right.
the concern I mostly have with this game and the historical part is, are they going to keep it historically accurate with that they're actually Africans? Because a lot of people
if they God in Egypt this or whatever.
well,
that
the big problem with Egypt in general is a lot
they're
of
always
people
showing the Egyptians as white.
people don't even think Egypt's a part of Africa sometimes. They
I
think
know.
it's a
Oh, you
part-
met my mother-in-law.
I
Okay.
No, they think it's a part of
Thank
like
you.
Saudi Arabia, like the Arabs.
You
And it's-
think you can see Egypt on a map without, and then you look at it and you're like, oh, it's a part of Africa. Like,
Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
don't know that. And a lot of people also don't understand that just all of northern Africa, the reason why there's so many Arabs in it is because Islam invaded northern Africa, and it is the Sahara now. And then you have the sub-Sahara, where that's mostly where blacks are.
Right.
So it's just one of those things where I wonder if they're going to go back into the actual time period and be like, hey, this is right, and these are actually Africans here.
I honestly think that if any company does, it's going to be Ubisoft. Only, especially after playing Assassin's Creed. What was the one that came out for the Vita?
Liberation.
Liberation, where you played as the New Orleans, the
The female.
female slave that was freed. They could have shied away from a lot of points in that game, and they didn't. It was down in like pretty dirty history sometimes, and they kept with it. So I feel like if they're willing to do that,
I think it's a good thing. I think they should.
I think they should too.
I think sometimes it's like, why gloss over it? Don't gloss over it. Like, it happened. We need to be up around it. And if you're gonna make a game about it, be ambitious. And I just got done saying, like, Ubisoft probably shouldn't be ambitious, but maybe if you were a little ambitious sometimes, some things would have worked out. And
keep the game in English.
Well,
but
for
definitely make it
something
more
like this, it's proven time and again that as far as video games go, there's no such thing as bad press. That's how Grand Theft Auto got to how big that they are.
Oh, yeah.
They were such a violent, over-the-top thing that they went to court over it.
No,
and
that's
they got
how Mortal Kombat got to what it is.
word of mouth as well.
What do you got? Oh, there's nothing there. You just put your hands like that. Gotcha.
It's my crystal ball. You can't see it.
See,
I'm
my
really good.
apologies.
I'm telling the future.
I like that Logan also does hand gestures because it makes me feel like I'm not the only weirdo.
I do them too until you mentioned it, and now I've just been holding my hand.
I'm not like I'm not. You
Yeah,
can have
okay.
your hand gestures just with him. He's fighting ninjas the whole podcast. Like,
Fighting
you know what I
ninjas.
mean? And then Logan over here has been holding something this whole time. Like,
There you go.
what is this thing he's
Now
got?
you-
I want it.
Now you gotta release a special episode with video of just Zabo.
But they won't see me ever. They'll just see hands in front of
Look,
them.
I'm sorry. After
Because
this
you're-
episode, that's what they're gonna want to see. What he's fighting.
So, what do you guys think? Do you think you're going to pick this one up? Oh, well, actually, first let's get into the main character. He doesn't look African.
Right.
Let's
I was
let's really talk about that. He doesn't look African or Arabic, actually, in my
Right.
opinion. And his shield, actually, in my opinion, looks Spartan.
right.
I don't know if you've noticed.
Are you-
It's a steel shield, which Africa at the time didn't use steel weaponry. The Romans did. So I'm curious if he's Spartan, because if you look, his shield is circular, and the Spartans had that kind of like a arrowhead, I would say, going through the shield.
Right.
But this time it's the same symbol, but it's the assassin symbol on it,
Right.
Keep in mind,
and he has a steel sword.
Assassin's Creed 3 when it was coming out, all screenshots showed Connor, and you didn't get to play as Connor until what was it?
That's
like,
true. That is true. Well, we
more
do.
than halfway throughout the game.
They've
like,
also
I'm
said,
glad I cut off when I did then. Jeez. Because I I tried 3. I tried that game for 10 hours, and I was like, nope.
Well, I remember when you start 3 off playing as a father, I was like, oh, the first mission? That was the first half of the game.
The dad was great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed playing as dad. It was once you got to Connor that I was just kind of
Nobody
like...
liked But that's my point. This might be what we see in the screenshots. We don't know if this is actually the main character.
That's true. Well, we do know that there's going to be a male and a female.
Right.
I am curious, though, if they're going to be... So, when you're... Lately in the Assassin's Creed games, I don't know if you guys have realized this, you've been in first person. You haven't actually been a character like Desmond before.
Right.
Now you've been in first person. It is technically you that's going into the Animus.
Right.
I wonder if they're actually going to allow us to create our own assassin for once.
I'd like that, because honestly, the whole gimmick of the Desmond gimmick, I've kind of got over that by just a story aspect, because the characters I was playing as in the timelines were much more interesting than Desmond.
I agree.
Which I heard is
Well-
the same problem that the movie suffered from, was that outside the Animus, the movie was just dry. But once you got into it,
Everything
it
was
cool.
fun.
But
and
there
cool.
were not enough scenes in the Animus, so the movie was just dry.
Mhm.
I didn't enjoy that movie. I was the one.
You did enjoy it?
Yeah, I thought it was alright.
Was it? I didn't even end up going to see it.
I didn't even see it.
I agree. Whoever said that, sure, the parts in the Animus were the best part by far.
And you got angry when I said I enjoyed Crystal Skull.
I'm just saying, inside the actual Animus was really, really good. The outside was kind of boring, but like I was telling them the other day, I appreciate it. When it was in the past or in the Spanish Inquisition, they don't speak English in that movie.
Well,
That was very brave, I thought.
It's kind of the same problem in the games, too. I didn't really... Maybe it was just me, but I didn't really give a shit about Desmond.
Oh, you didn't like the one with Desmond on the cover?
I just...
Oh wait, he's not on the cover.
I just kind of wanted
Ooh,
to...
burns.
I just kind of wanted to be an assassin. I didn't
Right.
really want to... Okay, yeah, I like that you did that. But you could have established that in the first game, maybe brought it up in the second one, and then just went with just assassins from then on out, and I would have been like, yeah.
I could agree.
It's just an excuse to have a heads-up display, really.
The one question I have to throw out though is, and I've seen this on your notes, is it's going to be the size or bigger than Skyrim.
They said the world's going to be huge, similar to Skyrim. That's something that's throwing me off too because
I'm done with you open worlds, man. Give me a linear.
There is-
I've
small
liked
map.
the sandbox elements of the previous ones, because while the Assassin's Creed 3 is the only one I own, I've played some of 2 and I've played some of 1, and the localized cities that you're in are much more vibrant than, say, the world of Skyrim, where you can be wandering for a half hour before you come across anything of merit.
And that's what I liked too. I liked that it was open, but it was small open areas. It was
Yeah.
it was secluded. It was like cut off things, and whenever you stepped out of the bounds, it was like, oh, load screen. Here's the new area.
Right.
I liked that. I do not want a seamless open world because I'm really getting tired of those. And here's my problem with those games, and we talked about it last episode. I think it was last episode. Was it last episode?
It was last episode.
With BioWare. BioWare has been doing open world games now more and more, and I think their quality of games has dipped. I feel like their peak was when they did sets, kind of similar to Knights of the Republic, Knights of the Republic 2, Jade Empire.
Oh,
Bring
Like,
it back.
Knights was
that-
so good.
Knights was so good.
Yeah, but see, that's what
some
I-
good music you're playing.
And like the first Mass Effect was amazing, and the first Dragon Age, and I feel like ever since then, BioWare has been trying to find what will bring them sales instead of what will hold their fans.
Right.
Same
But,
problem Ubisoft suffered.
BioWare, in my opinion, was one of the best developers. Now I feel like that's teetering for me.
You think that they should stick to
And
a
I
more
feel
traditional Western RPG?
And I feel like Ubisoft right now can be in that same position. You took a formula that really worked, that people enjoyed. With these sandbox areas, load me into another one. Okay, it's not so overwhelming. And don't get me wrong, Assassin's Creed in general, I don't know if you guys feel this way, I feel like it's overwhelming anyway when I look at that map and I see so many icons, they're on top of one another.
Yep.
And I literally get so overwhelmed, I'm like, I don't even know.
It's anxiety. It's bad. I've seen it before.
I don't even know what I want to do. And so I just don't do anything. Like,
Right.
things like that bother. That's why I'm getting tired of open world games. Like, there's so many to play that I'm just kind of like,
Look, man,
That's-
I got
that's
a
my
checklist
big-
to commit to every game
That's
now.
my big
Yeah.
issue is the open world game. Like everything's coming up in the world. I just started playing the Master Chief Collection. I'm like, this is so nice. I'm going from level to level. Okay.
Right.
I don't have to explore.
It feels like it's been so
Yeah,
long.
like, I shoot
Ukulele.
somebody in the face and I call it a day.
but even
Ukulele.
games like that, though,
Yeah, ukulele
Ukulele.
is something I really enjoyed just because it changed up the formula from what everyone else has been doing.
yeah.
I just finally played ukulele. It's pretty good.
But
Isn't it though?
the funny thing though about those games are there is exploration there if you want it. Like, you know what I mean? You have to find the pages or the skulls in the case of Halo, and some of them are hidden in places I never even knew you could get to until
Yeah,
like
really
you're
well,
actually looking for those skulls.
Right.
Like there's a vent all the way up so high that it's kind of gray because it's so high up that the shadow is covering it, and you're like. oh, if I platform all these freaking pipes all the way up there that I didn't even know I could reach up there, there's a skull.
You don't even look at the whole
Your
picture. You
Yeah.
just see the detail at first, and then you're like,
Maybe.
What
That
I'm
could work.
hoping is I want to feel that magic I did when I played 2. And you know what I mean? The first time I played 2, it just opened enough where I felt like there was so much to do, but it was just linear enough where I could actually finish the story.
I agree.
And that's what I want to feel. I don't want to
it
feel
rewarded,
overwhelmed.
It rewarded you for the side things that you wanted
Yeah.
to do in a good way.
If I wanted to finish the game with this awesome armor and building up my
Always
town,
did that.
I could, or I could just run through the game. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, that was another good mechanic. Man, I forgot about that. Building your villa up.
yeah, it was.
Whoa.
And you felt really good.
It
you know
looked
what I
like
mean?
crap, and then
Whoa.
your mom's living in it, and you're like, Mom, I don't want you to live in
Yeah.
this shithole.
And then your
Right.
sister's keeping track
Yeah.
of the books and want to look at the books. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's keep this money flowing.
Yeah,
Come on.
Come on now. Why,
Who didn't pay up?
Yeah.
Javier, I'm coming for you.
You know, what was really funny is I bought the whorehouse before fixing the church. I was like, after I did that, I was like, man, I really should get my priorities.
How you reweigh? Moral compass. I
I
don't
felt
know.
instantly bad. Like I went and got money. I was like,
I
I'll fix
wonder.
But think of the dozens you made happy.
I wonder if that will be a returning mechanic in Assassin's Creed, where maybe you take some sort of higher up role in Egypt and you would rule. Like,
I honestly think, as much as I like Black Flag and as much as I liked Syndicate, 2 is where the franchise peaks, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
yeah, I
and here's-
think so too.
Here's what I'm going to say too. I think the series has been trying to find their next Ezio for a while. They haven't. I feel like that's why we haven't had sequels to a character since
I think-
Ezio.
I
The
think
closest we got was I liked Edwards as a character. I
Yeah,
thought
but
he
here's
was
the
cool.
problem. Edward was a scumbag.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, you thought he was gonna get so much better, and then the whole story, you're like, he's still a jerk. Why are you still a
And
jerk? I
you're
wanna like
absolutely
you.
right. We're never. Ezio was. He was that awesome character that
He
you
was.
just felt.
And I think, though, that's where the series right now can really make a turn for the better. Instead of giving us these characters that some may attach with and some may not, because I know some people can argue that they really like Connor. I didn't. But
Who's I
Nobody
didn't
like
get
Connor.
that far.
Connor didn't even like himself.
but I do think that by making us make our own character, you're eliminating that thing of, oh, let's make a character that people will enjoy. Instead, if I usually when I create a character, I'm a little more attached to them than if you just throw me into a
I'm the opposite, man. I need set me up a story already, everything like that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I might get jumped here. Check the exits. Mass Effect, I kept the skin it came with, and I kept my name John Shepard and kept it moving. I don't like making my characters. It's like, I'm over that.
Okay.
I want a well-established
don't get me
character.
wrong. That is, I love Witcher, and I love Geralt, and I do think that that's a series.
Witcher is a franchise.
That-
white hair.
I do think that that's a series that you
Can't
didn't
talk to
need
me.
to make your own character.
This may be the one thing that me and Zabo have a huge thing about.
yeah,
I do not like
he's
Witcher.
not a Witcher fan.
Yeah. So I have this weird thing just to establish something. I was not a Breaking Bad fan. I was not a Walking Dead fan, and
Oh, I
I
don't
was
like The
not a
Walking
Game
Dead.
of Thrones
I
fan
feel like
either.
The Walking Dead insists on stuff.
Only because so many people had to tell me about it before I got a chance. And it's not even like I was dawdling on it. It's like everyone wanted to tell me about the first episode. Everybody wanted to tell me about the characters. And I was just like, whoa, man. I don't even want to watch this right now. Like I've heard about it so much that I'm like, I just kind of want to, do something else right now.
Walter White
Nightwing
dies.
hoodie on.
And I was just like, and Witcher was the
Doesn't
same
like
way.
things that are universally loved. Bottom of his pants are awfully tight. Are you a hipster? You bring a hipster in my house.
No. Witcher was the same thing for me. Everybody just told me about The Witcher. And when I finally got onto it, I was like, man, this would have been great if I would have figured it out myself. But everybody wanted to tell me about it. So, I don't know. There are some problems with, like, I do agree with your established character thing. I like building my own character. But at the same time, you know what? In Breath of the Wild, I'm sorry, I dyed some of my clothes green, and I was like, I'm still the same Link that I've been. I liked Link. Don't let me customize Link. It was a fun mechanic. Please don't do it again. Like, I want Link back. I like the lore for Link. And when we first got Breath of the Wild, we were trying to, like, see where it fit in the Zelda timeline. And I was like, this isn't a Zelda game.
My big problem with one of my big problems with Breath of the Wild is they added voice acting but wouldn't let Link talk. So you're still just everyone's talking but you're still the silent guy who's just like.
And to
Because now he's an established character. He's not a reflection of you.
he
Yeah.
is also
He is
established.
Link.
He's
Yes.
also established not to be mute. Like there's this like whole fan theory. If you read one of Zelda's diaries, you can find out that Link actually did talk to her and say something and describe to her why he is so quiet. I'm not going to spoil that for anybody that wants to find it, but it is in there.
He has
So-
a really high-pitched voice. It's super awkward.
And
It's
like
just one of those things though that just it annoyed me.
right.
But moving on.
We
Mass
talked
Effect-
about Mass Effect already. Let's move on to Mass Effect. How
Yeah.
well did Mass Effect do?
Andromeda sales-wise didn't do so
Look
great.
at that poster.
I know it's
Look
great.
at it.
I know.
It is a nice poster, though.
Man, how were the reviews for
What
it?
is it? Every poster recently. In
So
the
here's what I'm-
back
all right.
facing- Why am I always
That's
looking
every
at-
movie poster, every video game
No,
poster.
Right, but recently it's like, why am I always looking at the back of the character? You ever noticed
Like
that?
Zelda.
Because on the front, he doesn't have
Right.
Because Link doesn't have a beard.
That's why Solid Snake got so mad up top. He's like, "You're looking at my crotch. Deal with it, right?"
Like, there's so many characters. Look, even in the other thing, I'm still looking at the back of Link.
Yeah.
Even this other poster. What's going on with this?
So here's what I'm going to say when it comes to the reviews of Mass Effect Andromeda. They weren't bad reviews in the aspect of a game itself.
Right.
It got 7s and 8s. Not bad. But in compared to BioWare's past games, that's their lowest score they've ever gotten. So BioWare has put the Mass Effect series on hold. No,
Absolutely.
there isn't going to be any. From my understanding, there's not even going to be DLC for Andromeda, which that's why there wasn't a season pass anyway. So Andromeda is basically just done. They're going to continue with the multiplayer DLC, but it's not getting any story DLC, and there may not be an Andromeda 2. What do you guys think?
It makes me disappointed because I feel like this was the start of a new franchise and maybe could only went up here. But I feel like I said before, when the game first came out, just because how beloved those last 3 were and how disappointed everybody was at the end of 3, this wasn't going to do well. I felt like this game could have done anything and reviews were going to pick it apart.
I
What a grow face layer.
feel like this is the first time that they've ever just been like, they've released a game that clearly needed more time. That clearly needed more time to just polish.
Well, let's also put this into consideration, is that it wasn't BioWare's main team. It was a side team. It was BioWare
Right.
Montreal. So they're not known for usually doing Mass Effect. It's more of a side thing. So do you think it was smart for them to put such a big title like Mass Effect in the hands of just a side company like that?
No, I'm sorry.
I don't think it was either.
No, it's a terrible idea.
It was. I'm glad they had faith in them.
Because here's the thing, and I will say this. Let's look at Batman.
Right.
Arkham Origins, while a lot of people weren't fans of it, I actually think Arkham Origins was better than Arkham Knight.
I agree with you.
I actually think Arkham Knight was one of the worst in the Arkham series because it's
look at
just...
that face. You okay?
I still haven't played Arkham Knight. I
It's
haven't gotten
just
around to it.
Look, you
It's
can't
called
take
it-
this from me, okay? I've wanted Red Hood to have something for so
No,
long.
I wanted Red Hood to be in the game.
Okay,
but-
look. Who the hell didn't know that? Please
The
answer
one
me.
guy.
Who the hell?
The one
didn't
guy
know
listening
that?
to this is like,
Seriously.
come on, man.
Watch
What?
any-
Arkham Knight's Red Hood? I'm sorry, yeah, we ruined it for you.
What?
Like, come on.
You're not missing much.
I-
It's Batman.
I looked at the poster and
I
was
just
like,
felt
oh,
that
yes.
you're just in the Batmobile too much.
I agree, and
Right.
I think
Agreed.
Batman Arkham or Arkham Origins. I liked it. I thought it was a very good game.
Me too.
However, that Deathstroke fight, some tough stuff right there.
Okay.
Whew. Did that a few times.
He's got a gun.
The Mass Effect thing, I don't know. I didn't have faith. I didn't have faith in Andromeda.
Okay.
So, like, I kind of came in, like, I don't know if I want to touch that. And it got better scores than I thought. So I was like, okay, this is, well, more well-received than 3, I think, was. Like, I think 3, like, I think as far as Mass Effect goes, I think 3 was their bomb.
Here's my issue, and I really like everything you're saying, except for the only issue I had with 3 was the ending. The game itself was amazing, in my opinion. The journey to that shitty ending was amazing.
We'll say this. Mass Effect 1 was their peak. 2 was a better combat system. I didn't like that they took out a lot of the RPG elements. They kind of bare-boned it. And I felt that they had a worse villain.
He tries to push his agendas on people.
Alright, first off, let's really get
I like
Same.
I like 1 too. So I'm on.
I agree. 1 was better when it comes to story aspect.
Yes.
And the RPG elements are great. What I'm saying and why I preferred 2 was you took everything that was great about 1.
It's Gears.
Huh?
2 is Gears. Getting a cover.
Ooh.
You take everything about 1 and you improved on the combat and you made it a larger game.
Pretty sure it's
Without-
Marcus.
Without it losing
Pretty sure
its
it's
awesome
Marcus.
characters, I feel like. But I do agree. 1, like I still, when I go back, I've beaten 1 twice and only beat 2 once. So obviously,
I do think the best villain in the entire series is
I
still
only
Saren.
needed to beat 2 once.
I think Saren.
I didn't need to go back and relive that memory. It'll always be a good memory for me.
Saren
it was a good memories when I finished
Those
3 and I was like,
260 hours.
Then I had to go back and play
And then
2.
3
Like,
was,
thank you.
3 was good. They added a little bit more RPG elements. I think they streamlined it a little too much. I would have liked it to be a little deeper. They added a little bit more RPG elements than they did with 2, and they even increased the combat from 2, which I thought was like, how do you even do that? Oh,
Yeah.
I get it. I can now roll out of cover. Good job, BioWare.
Right.
But yeah, once again, you got to that ending, and you were just kind of. And I think what really hurt me about the ending was it felt like any decision I made up to that ending, it didn't matter. That
It
ending,
didn't.
Versus
no matter-
2, where your decisions, even small, made a difference.
yeah, I agree.
So it's like,
Well, that's what made me mad. Like, I did everything right. I played the game as a good guy. I took care of who I thought I needed to. Did side missions, everything like that.
Mary Talia.
Just to get to the end of 3 and like, well, sorry you did all that work. Good luck.
Well, Andromeda. What I'll say is Andromeda was smart in taking the series to another galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was smart to only add 2 new races. You're in a whole new galaxy,
there's only-
and basically everything from the Milky Way was here, besides 2 races. It's like, all right, come on now. You could have done a little bit more with that.
Well, like you said, it is a new team, so I mean,
I understand that.
I think my biggest problem with Andromeda was, you remember I wanted to play it. I kept going in and trying to like look for reviews, something to catch me. And everything I watched from it, even our gameplay video we did, I was like, eh.
So here's one of my big problems with Andromeda 2 is I don't like that this game really got hurt because of the bugs that it has. A lot of people were like saying, "Oh, I don't want this game because it has breaking bugs. My character crab walks. There's like weird facial animations." It's like, okay, I can respect that.
Sorry.
What annoys me when that happens is that Bethesda, every game they ever release has bugs in it.
Right.
Every Fallout, every Skyrim.
God, yeah.
I mean,
That
every
is
Elder
one,
Scrolls.
those are some of my favorite
Yeah, but so
memories.
is-
But see, that's the problem. In my opinion, it is not okay to like some bugs, but then be mad about others. How is it that Bethesda can release a game that has all these bugs and issues, and they still get 9s and 10s? But if another company does it, the same bugs, might I add you sometimes, weird facial recognition. Look at exactly the same thing, facial animations in Skyrim and Fallout. They're really weird sometimes. Sometimes the character's just looking out into the abyss, not
Yeah,
even
right.
at you.
With characters walking in when you're trying to dialogue with somebody and they just cut through your conversation. You're like, hang on, I'm going to go murder this guy real quick. Who the hell do you think you
so
are?
it kind of annoys me that there are some companies that people are like, that's okay for them because they're charming. Like, for Bethesda, people have come to expect these bugs, and they're like, I like the bugs there. They add that charm to it, like when you hit a mammoth and it flies into the sky and comes back down. Okay, I can get that that's funny, but why is it that that game gets a pass, but others don't?
Yeah, right. I do get that.
I can see that point too. I think it happens solely because you knew it was going to be there. You're like, people sometimes go into this like, okay, what bugs is this going to have? I feel like the reason that it was such a shock with Andromeda was because people had come to, even though it was the B team, and I can see that being a not an excuse, but more of a reason why, they still thought it would get more testing than it did. So with Bethesda games, they're not like, these worlds are huge, they're gonna launch with like things like dragons flying backwards, hit the ground and a mammoth flies up. But they weren't expecting that when they got into Andromeda day one and your character stood there like a stick man and had his legs fly into his face.
Yeah.
I think people kind of, I don't know, I think sometimes fans kind of like look at some bugs and wonder like, why is it 2017 and we're still dealing with these bugs that we've dealt with back in 2008?
Patches
yeah, I
made
was
it
gonna say
easy.
patches. Yeah, like companies are like, hey, we can just release a day one patch and hopefully it fix it. If not, we already got your money and we'll release another patch later.
Right.
Yeah.
Patches are willing.
QA has
So
become...
what do you think? Obviously, BioWare hasn't come out and said that the reason they put Mass Effect on hold was because of poor sales of Andromeda. Obviously, that's the reason.
Right.
I want to put a lid on that for a second. I think the season pass not coming out, that's a little too coincidental for me. That might have been a plan. They might have already had that established in there, and they just didn't tell anybody. Like, you're telling there's no story DLC. There's never a
Which
season
is
pass
something
talked
every
about.
BioWare game has had, is story DLC.
But
so.
have they all had season passes?
No.
Have they had season passes
Well,
recently?
Season passes.
Is
have
this
been like
a weird
the
break for
only
them?
the only BioWare game to have a season pass was Mass Effect 3. That was the only one. So this is the first one that not only isn't going to have any story DLC, but didn't have a season pass anyway.
I don't know. That kind of feels like a strange break. Like,
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Good.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like BioWare realized they made a mistake passing on such a big franchise to their B team.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, all right, you know what? You guys you're not going to do it. I'm curious if they're going to be willing to maybe give them Dragon Age. While Dragon Age is still big, Dragon Age has always had this... They had one good game, technically. One, I think, was the most well-received.
Origins was pretty phenomenal.
And then
its
you have
DLC
two.
was so good.
You do have some people that say 2's the best, and then you have some people now who say Inquisition's the best. But I think 1 is pretty much the one that everyone's like, I really enjoyed 1. Like, that's the one that's universally like.
The only problem I had with 1 was I wasn't not too into the combat.
Yeah, the combat did feel a little stilted.
I didn't mind the combat only because like I love turn-based RPGs anyway, so slow combat doesn't bother me. But I can completely understand why someone would be like, "This is boring."
See, I got spoiled too early on because I played Final Fantasy VII, and then later on got introduced into Kingdom Hearts, and I was like, "This can happen. We can do this."
Gotcha. See, I actually miss turn-based games, so like I want them to make a return.
I do like turn-based games, but as far as it goes, if I had to make a list, Pokemon is still like turn-based, the turn-based for me. Versus like, I do like the real-time turn-based of like Final Fantasy games, but now even with the new Final Fantasy, the combat feels like Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
It feels like how they did it, where it's like action combat now.
But who did it better?
Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying it felt like Kingdom Hearts.
So where do you think Mass Effect needs to go from here? Obviously, BioWare's main company is going to be the ones probably
I
taking
feel
it
like
on.
it needs to do a long hiatus. Don't touch that franchise. Let people miss it.
I agree.
Right.
All right.
Rob them of your.
I mean,
Yeah.
does it
rob them
have
of your
to come
presence.
back?
Huh?
Does it have to come
I
back?
would love to play
Don't-
another Mass Effect.
Because I'm not
don't
saying
leave
that...
Don't leave it like this.
I think Mass Effect...
Don't leave it like this.
Don't leave it like
yes.
this.
Like this.
No,
Don't leave it like this.
If you would have left it on 2, I mean, like, I think they could have left it on 2.
I don't think they could have.
Well, if they had,
I need
no,
to...
hang on.
They said something about the Reaper since the first game.
Let me
I need to
rewind.
know.
Right, let me rewind that. If they had handled the Reaper situation
In 2, I can agree.
they could have left it, and it would have been cemented forever as a great series. Everybody would have been like, "Man, Mass Effect was awesome."
To be honest, I could have. If you left it at 3, I could have dealt with that more than this coming out, and then now saying this might be the last Mass Effect we get. At least 3 had closure. Might not be the closure I wanted.
Yeah.
But it
I
was
do
closure.
think
This
Mass
doesn't give
Effect...
me closure.
Mass Effect does need to take a hiatus. I agree with that.
At least 5 years.
And I also think that the next time we see it, I don't think you can have Andromeda attached to it. I don't think you can bring it back and you'd be like, here's...
So do you think it should go
Yeah.
backwards, touch into the Shepard story somehow?
Personally, I don't know. I don't know how they could do something to the level that they... Because in order to make this ending for the Mass Effect series good, you have to be able to top what the original trilogy did, what that did for fans.
Well, I think what they really need is a strong villain, which in my opinion the series has been lacking
Mm-hmm.
since Saren. The Collectors, while they were a threat, I don't think lived up to the threat of Saren. Like, Saren to me was basically a double agent. You know, from the very beginning,
Triple agent.
when you first get there, you're actually right.
Yeah.
You can make him good again.
Yeah.
But when you first see Saren, you're like, yo, this guy's badass. You go to that planet with him. He's helping you take out everything. You're like, yo, Saren is the top dog of the
bomb.
Spectres.
Right.
Yeah, when it comes to Spectres, Saren is number 1. And then you just see him murdering guys that are on your side. And you're like, whoa, what's going on? I wanted to like you. Why can't you join my party? And then you find out at the end, like, he didn't even really want to be a bad guy. And there's a book on that, too. Like, Saren has a really deep past, and I think that's what's good. Saren was such a good villain, they gave him his own book.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We haven't had that with anything else in Mass Effect. While I think the Collectors, obviously, once again, were a threat, you kind of were like, this is something to lead to something bigger, which was the Reapers. But even the Reapers, to me, when I finally got to the 3rd game to fight the Reapers, I was like,
it's lackluster.
Yeah.
All this urgency didn't lead to what I thought was urgent.
Yeah, I'm mostly fighting Husk.
And you know what? That could be my opinion on Mass Effect. That could be my final opinion. If you bring it back, give me a sense of urgency. I thought, I don't know, crash me somewhere, strand me somewhere for a while. Do something like that. Give me something new. Stop letting me fly around in the spaceship. Take the spaceship away from me, and make it like a big, dramatic scene and give me that sense of urgency that I felt in 2.
More of a sandbox RPG?
Well, I think Bioware really needs to take away the open world thing, too.
I agree.
Yeah.
I honestly, in my opinion, take away the half organic machine robot villains, add something new in for a villain, like I said.
Whole robot villain.
It's not bad.
Or whole organic.
Oh,
I would like to see a
Dogs.
pirate of some sort villain, or you know,
Blackbeard.
pirate assassin.
I'm feeling
Pirate.
pirate robot.
Do you remember anybody?
Assassin's Creed Mass Effect confirmed.
Damn it, I was gonna say that.
Anybody ever watch Firefly?
Yeah.
Everyone.
The what do you call them? The villains in that, the scavenger were whatever they were terrified
okay. Yeah.
of. But something like that. You know what I mean?
No. What?
Reapers. They were
Reapers.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
But they weren't robots. They
Well,
were just
well,
they weren't really human. They were.
You know what else? In Mass Effect 1 and 2, I felt so outclassed. Like there was this big looming threat,
Yeah.
and it's like,
You were
how am I gonna take this on?
You felt like a bug.
And then when he finally came to it, it's like the threat was so much less than I thought it was. It's like the threat was contained. Like someone kind of beat me to it a little bit, but they died. And now I get to take care of the rest of it and be the hero. And it's like, man, this threat's not as huge as I really thought it was.
If I agree with they'll take away the spaceship, or if you do keep the spaceship, make the game smaller. Let's focus on 5 planets, or maybe 4 planets.
Well, one of my big problems with Andromeda too, you haven't played it, but and you've probably seen it maybe in the gameplay footage we put up. But you can explore. You go on the planets to do the probe thing like before, but you literally can go to these planets and sometimes there's nothing. Like you scan the entire planet, and you're like, why was this even an option?
Right.
Was it just to deter me from doing something? Because this just felt like a waste of my time. But we'll end the whole Bioware Mass Effect talk there.
Bye, Mass Effect.
Analysts
Like a
say
Mary Tower.
that the PS5 is going to be out maybe in 2018. Do you guys think that's too soon?
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually. What do you think, Marshall? Before I go into this, too soon?
Well, the thing is, he's an Xbox guy, so he
That's not
didn't.
true. I'm multi-platform. I'm on it. I'm on everything.
You're
I'm
on
for
the platform.
I'm for whatever platform has the game.
I am. You're right.
That's why their systems unite.
It actually that does take a lot
He
into
did
it.
the thing.
Did the thing. Did the thing.
Title drop.
Yeah, I
need a moment. I apologize. Continue.
want to say that it's too soon, but you know what?
Absolutely is too soon.
It is not.
Do I
No way is it too soon. So here, let's go through a little tidbit of history,
All right.
shall we?
If you talk about the dates of actual systems releasing,
It has always
I'm
been
gonna
a
have
4 to
reason
5 year
to
gap.
disagree with you, but go ahead.
But so most systems until the PS3, Xbox 360 have had a 4 to 5 year gap. Always. It wasn't until the PS3 and 360 came out that there was that 8-year gap before we had the PS4 or Xbox One.
It's because the market crashed.
Yeah, it was because the market crashed. You're right. That's why that's why those systems stayed around. They didn't think people could afford a new system because there wasn't money to give out. However, my argument for why I do think the PlayStation 5 could come out in 2018 is you just have the Switch out, which is taking some attention from the PlayStation. You know what I mean? As well as PlayStation is selling, the Switch is always news.
Right.
I've been trying to cut back on Nintendo news because I just feel like we constantly talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't cut back on it if it's always there. You know what I mean? Like I want to cover that news even if I don't agree with it.
Right.
It just gets annoying that it's always there type of thing.
Woo, Nintendo!
And Nintendo is always first. Like they drop a console right before Microsoft.
They are
So-
usually the first ones to always come out with a console in the race, which usually I think hurts them. I don't think I think they underestimate their competition, or they believe that what they're doing, it doesn't need the power behind it that these other consoles have to push the sales.
I agree with you, but I think
With the death of the Wii.
underestimating. I think at some point they kind of overestimate their competition if they're thinking like we can't compete if Microsoft and Sony drops all these first-person shooters with these high-tech graphics when we're still doing like Legend of Zelda, Mario. I think they have to kind of drop it a little bit earlier because they know there are these mature gamers who want these like shoot 'em in the head kind of games like
that Nintendo just aren't known for.
Yeah, Nintendo doesn't do it. I mean, Link's crossbow training was fun.
I will. Yeah,
It was.
go ahead.
Hold on. Okay, so let me just continue with this point, though. Scorpio comes out this year, and Scorpio is said to be the strongest console ever made.
Still an Xbox One, technically.
Supposed to.
Which, yeah, is still an Xbox One, and that's where I think it's going to really hinder itself, because every game that comes out for the Scorpio is limited by the original Xbox. So technically, we will never see the full potential of the Scorpio, because every game that comes out on it has to also run on the Xbox One. I don't really... So, while it can be the most powerful console you've made, unless you drop the Xbox One, it's going to be held back, personally.
Right.
I think Sony's going to see that and go, you know what, we can step this up a notch. I do agree that when you look at them, they just came out last year with the PS4 Pro and the Slim model. To come out now with the 5 would almost kind of be a slap in the face to people that bought a Pro.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if Sony can come out with a new console next year and be like, ours is the strongest, and we have nothing to hold us back, and this is something that Sony's been trying to work for a while now, every game from the PlayStation 1 to PS4 and 5 will work on this digitally. They've been trying to join their library for such a long time.
They both just went, and like leaned forward as they did it. It like
almost kissed.
Right, they were.
I love you, Logan. It's weird.
Me too.
Go ahead.
I believe that the
We're done here.
PlayStation 5, if they do release it, because the PlayStation 4's life has been, 4 to 5 years, as you were saying. It's still
coming up on the 5th year.
It's still going through most of its prime life. If they do release the PlayStation 5 next year, I think they have to do kind of what they did with the PlayStation 3 and make it backwards compatible. Yes, that expanded the price drastically, but I think that if they do it kind of like what they're trying to do with the Scorpio, they make it a stronger PlayStation 4, but market it as a different console, people act like backwards compatibility is a bonus instead of just having the additional processing power to play new games as a feature.
Well, actually, that's something they said. The PlayStation 5, they've said this since the PS4 was coming out. Every console from the PS4 going on will be backwards compatible with one another, because they realized that there was such a big backlash with the cell processor for the PS3. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, while backward compatibility isn't used that much, a lot of people want it. So I think they're going to eventually obviously get to a point where as long as it's digital, it'll be backwards compatible, because discs obviously aren't always going to be around.
And I'm tired of buying Psychonauts again, Sony.
I love Psychonauts.
So good.
Such a good game.
So what we do around here, we have
5s all around. All right. So what were you going to say about it?
Here's my issue. When the PlayStation 4, in my opinion, dropped, pretty much everybody had a PlayStation 3. I feel like not everybody has a PS4 yet. I feel like I still know a bunch of people that still have just a PS3. Like
They're still holding on to that
they're
last
still holding on.
generation.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's not enough catch-up time.
I mean, heck, Persona 5 came out on the PS3.
Yeah.
In
Japan didn't do that.
It did.
Oh, it came out here?
It did come out on PS3. My big issue, and I feel like unless this one will play PlayStation 4 games, like the actual disc, it's just a slap in the face.
Yeah.
And here's my issue, like, games are still coming out this year. They're talking about next year that this thing's going to get
Well, this is analysts, not obviously Sony themselves. I don't think it's going to happen next year.
I honestly, 2020 sounds good for me.
I agree with that, actually, too. That's kind of, in my opinion, where it would probably happen.
Wow, we're talking about 2020 in the near future. Like, it's about to happen.
You having some future shots?
Close.
Rather close.
The Jetsons were way off. Sorry.
Anyone else want to add anything else to this before we...
I'm really, like, at the end of the day, I got an Xbox One with a thought process of, it's okay, because they're still, even with the Scorpio ring release, they're still just making Xbox One games. It's going to make me be afraid for anybody now to buy a PS4 thinking that just any minute now they're going to announce a PS4 or PS5. You know what I mean?
I think that Microsoft shot themselves in the foot when they tried to push Windows 10 as a gaming platform. I feel that if they had decided to solidly stay Xbox is Xbox, Windows is Windows, and not try to integrate the two, it would have done better.
I agree, because one of the reasons I saw no reason to own an Xbox is because every game that I did want on Xbox, I can now get on PC.
By the way,
PC.
tired of Cortana's bitch ass. Interrupting me in the middle of Overwatch.
She's always around.
Says you want to search something on Bing. Oh, Cortana, not now!
Real quick, though, with PlayStation, I actually didn't add this in the notes, but did you guys see the 4K trailer they released?
No, is there 4?
No.
So Sony released a 4K trailer to show off
4K is the next.
some games in 4K. And the games that they showed that were to show off on the PlayStation 4 Pro that play in 4K was Horizon Zero Dawn, MLB The Show, Gran Turismo Sports, which comes out this year,
Gear Sports.
and God of War. The new God of War.
God of Norway.
I think the new God of War is going to come out this year.
So what, 2017?
I think so.
That's
E3's
a bold
gonna be
thing.
big.
Well, think about it.
If that's
Is it gonna
the
be-
announcement at
is it gonna be
E3,
Kratos
like,
again?
It is Kratos. He's older and he has a son. So you haven't seen the trailer for it, have you? The new God of War. Okay.
It's
It does look
It
amazing.
looks Norse mythology, and
Yeah, it's
he's
Norse
definitely
mythology.
older, and he has a child this time.
Yeah.
You alright, man?
So it takes place in what the
You need to hyperventilate.
Vikings
We have a
call
closet right over there.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
the Viking. The time period is going to take place is called the passive period for the Vikings. What that means is the Vikings say the gods have left us all the time, and I don't know if you know what that means to them. It means that the gods used to live among man, like they used to live on Earth with us, and then they left and went to Valhalla. So this is going to take place during the time period where the gods were on Earth. So Kratos is going to be with Loki, with Thor, and all of them.
Or he is.
Or that is a theory too.
He's just gonna kill all.
His son,
everyone.
his son is going to be Loki. I'm calling it right now.
I think his son's gonna be Thor.
I think his son's going to be Thor as well.
I think
he's
his
old.
son's gonna die.
I think his son's going to kill him.
I actually think, if anything, Kratos might be the one to
Right.
die.
Yeah.
I think you need to pass the torch on to something else.
When you did that with your face, your chin looked like a walnut. It was really cool.
But
Wish we had a camera back here.
But yeah, so I saw that trailer and I was just kind of like, oh, that's interesting because we know Gran Turismo comes out this year, and the other two games you have are already out. So are you kind of hinting that? Because out of all the games, they honestly could have showed a reel of multiple games. They didn't just have to show 4.
Mhm.
Like, you could have showed Spider-Man, you could have showed Days Gone, you could have shown Death Stranding, a bunch of games that are going to be 4K because we know they're going to be 4K compatible.
You know, honestly, that would be a huge announcement for E3 if they come out E3 and say, "Holiday, you're getting God of War."
I think that's going to happen.
And
think
that
so.
would
Didn't they release the God of War collection during the holiday season too?
No, they
No,
re-released
split
3.
They
re-released 3.
during the holiday season, wasn't it?
I
Is there,
don't
is there,
remember.
is there a
It
pattern?
was during the holiday season.
Yeah.
You're
Was
right.
it?
I think it was like September.
Stay woke.
No, it
There
was
might be a
literally
pattern.
right. I think it was. Yeah, it was around the holiday season. I remember that because. Yeah.
It was either holiday or first quarter.
Yep.
It was somewhere between there.
Okay. That dog is a member of this podcast. Every episode he barks at something.
Thank you, Bork, for joining us like you always do. Listen, he doesn't even like himself, so don't be too mad at
He
it.
doesn't even like himself.
We have 2 more things of news, and then I actually had a secret thing I wanted to throw on us for fun. Okay, so
A secret?
Yeah,
A secret?
At the end, though.
There's no editing here. Where did the dog go? Oh, wow.
But the next topic is actually going to be Square Enix. I don't really want to spend too much time on this.
Because we've been doing this for 2 days already.
So Thief is actually going to. Apparently, they're working on another Thief title.
The last one did so well. Yeah, it was a joke, Logan, because it didn't. It sold terribly. Sounds like you.
But what's interesting to me is Square Enix came out and recently said that they want to work on only 2 AAA titles a year, with everything else either being a remaster or a smaller title.
Okay.
So my question is, well, I have 2 questions. One, why Thief? And is Thief counting as one of the AAA titles, or is this going to be a smaller thing that we...
I think it's a smaller thing. I don't think they can consider
Thief
that.
a AAA title.
I don't think Thief has ever even been
No.
considered a AAA title, even in its prime.
I felt like the new
was a
Thief that
Prime?
they released when the PS4 and the Xbox One first came out, I felt like they were trying to push it as a AAA game.
I mean, it was a good game.
I don't think it lived up to that, but
it didn't sell well, and I
don't think it was worth the $60 price point.
No, definitely
I
not.
don't think half the games that people release are. I have a huge gripe with the
New
prices of
Ghostbusters game released at $60.
Everything does.
So bad.
So here's what I say about price point, though. I say this all the time.
He's gonna get into it now. He's gonna say if you're gonna pay this for
He
this.
gave me this look, this haunting look like, what the fuck did you do?
Well, we get into this because of you ever play The Order?
Yeah.
Really like that game, but a lot of people complain that it's
I
full
love that
price
too.
because it's only 4 to 6 hours. And then what Zalbo says to that, well, if you're gonna pay, a discount price on games that are short, then you should have to pay more for games like Witcher
That are
which
300 hours. It's a
Now I
double-edged
gotta-
sword.
now I gotta
You
pay
can't
150
say-
for a game.
You
yeah.
can't say, oh, this game should be cheaper because there wasn't as much content as this game. But it's like, okay, well then does that mean for Skyrim you should be paying $200 because if we're going to pay by hour?
No. Yeah.
So
I don't.
it's like
Right,
a
I
tough
agree.
area. But
Right.
anyway, moving
then
on.
how much would a puzzle game cost?
Let's-
But anyway.
Let's get
Let's
on to this
move on.
Thief thing. What do you guys think?
I think Thief's going to be a smaller title, but overall, I just want to get into to me, it's an awesome idea. If the company's saying we're only going to focus on two
AAA.
AAA, that means
I
we're
agree.
going
Me
to
too.
focus on this. You know?
And I think that's because
Death of iOS
Square
titles.
Enix has basically come into this position where their games have constantly been delayed. So
Yeah.
I think they realized, hey, in order for us to stop this, 2 things a year is what we're going to focus on.
And not to mention, the remasters will hold people aside, because
Yeah.
how many Square Enix games remastered would I just play just to... Did I say it wrong?
No.
He's dead. You've
I
killed
just
him.
realized how many remasters of Square Enix I bought recently, and it kind of hurt my soul to know that I...
Well, I'm just saying...
He felt his
I
child
feel
self
like,
kicking him to shit.
even if they did 30 remasters, I might only get 10 or 15. You probably get all 30. But maybe he will only get 10, 15.
My,
you know what I
my
mean?
problem with Square Enix is like, look, if you're right, they delay everything, and if
Mhm.
10-year-old me would have known that Kingdom Hearts 3 still wasn't out in 2017, he would have just cried.
Oh,
Could have
yeah.
broke down and cried, man.
And I agree with him. It's just like, would I have finished Kingdom Hearts 2 when I did? No, because if I knew I had to wait another 20 years for the sequel,
Holy
I would have been
crap.
like,
And you had every
way.
opportunity to play it on.
I remember
every
the day I
subsystem.
finished 2, so like if I knew this was the ride I was in for. Oh
So,
my God.
I mean, how long have they been talking about Final Fantasy 15? Although an amazing game,
It took 10 years.
10 years.
10
I,
years.
look, I'm glad. I agree. I think 2 AAA titles is a perfect quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. That's great. That's enough time to work on 2 AAA.
Not to
titles.
mention, their games take a while to finish anyway.
They
So
do.
it's not like,
I think
you know
you-
me, you're going to be done in a week, and you're like, oh, that's
I
it.
think as long as they maybe have one come out quarter 1, and then the other one come out in quarter 3, I think you're fine. You know,
Right.
Not to mention,
I do not think any Square game should ever come out in quarter 4, which is that holiday time. Because while their games have that big fan base, I don't think it's big enough to go against things like Call of Duty. When people have to pick, like, oh, for this holiday I can only get one game, I don't think Square should try to come back
No.
for that game.
Right.
Nobody's screaming, I want Final Fantasy for Christmas when there's...
Right.
The new
Right.
battle.
He is. He is.
Uh,
Don't get me wrong,
Zero is.
I love
Okay,
RPGs,
As
man.
much as we're
But-
closing, as much as I love the RPGs, you saw my Christmas list, Final Fantasy. Only reason I played Final Fantasy is because my good-looking best friend bought it for me for Christmas.
Yeah.
You're
I
welcome.
loved it. It's so weird.
So-
Wow, you're just going to cheat on Mark?
So
I'm gonna let you guys know something real quick. Just know what we have.
So
Alright.
I have this thing. So I actually almost ended a friendship over Final Fantasy game.
Oh.
I really did. I had a friend tell me that when Final Fantasy 15 came out, he just played Final Fantasy 15. If he knew I was telling him recording this, we probably would not be friends. But he was like, "This is a really good game for a title that not a lot of people know." And I had to stop and go, "I'm sorry? What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, nobody really knows much about Final Fantasy." And I was like, it's 15. Like,
That's not even counting the side games.
Side
right.
games and the
he was
sequel
like,
to games.
well, I thought it was like
The spin-off
Team
to those
Fortress
side
2.
games.
And I was like, yeah, but it's 15. There's 15 other Final Fantasies. You think they kept it going for that long and people didn't know what they were? And he's like, we actually had to bring up like a video game Hall of Fame and show him that Final Fantasy was on it. And be like, is an entry in this list. It is literally an award-winning game. 7 is one of the games that helped bring JRPGs to the West.
I think the big
We
issue with
disagree.
Final Fantasy, in my opinion, is certain ones get focused on for how amazing they are, but overall, I think the franchise is pretty good. Like, you know what I mean?
I think they've had a few speed bumps.
Oh, yeah,
but
absolutely.
they never. I'm going to say they
13.
never really had. It's kind of similar to the Mass Effect Andromeda thing. They weren't bad games, just bad in comparison to previous.
My issue
titles.
is we
Right.
focus on 7 and 10 as great games.
No.
9 was amazing.
Nine's
You know
my
what I mean?
favorite.
9 was great. That's
8 was there.
No, we're not going to talk about 8.
He said
Eight's one
was
of the
there.
eight's one of the speed
Oh,
bumps.
you're so... Stop it. With your cute and all that craziness.
8 existed.
8 was It turned on.
All right.
Squall had a gunblade. That was cool.
There's a start screen and some.
Anyway,
So we all agree that
8 was
Thief's
there.
probably going to be one of the smaller titles.
I think Thief's gonna be a smaller title. I definitely do.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next topic. So to finish, well, one more topic, and then I want to do our secret topic that I
Your
saved
secret
for us. Nintendo says that they are going to have a Nintendo Spotlight at E3. They're going to really focus on Mario Odyssey, but they're going to show off Mario Odyssey, Splatoon 2, and ARMS. So we know that those are the 3 big ones, and we know they're obviously going to probably
Which is
show us
weird because
some-
ARMS is scheduled for June release.
Yeah, it is weird to me too. So they're
DLC?
focusing on those 3.
You're gonna focus on a
We
game.
also can kind of speculate that Mario Rabbids RPG game that Ubisoft's doing with them for no one knows why is probably going to be
What do
there.
you mean? It was requested by
Why?
Logan.
That probably makes
Don't you
sense.
dare
And-
point that at me.
And probably, Logan.
Rabbit-
I bet you it's the Sonic fans.
Can one of the rabbits wear the Sonic skin? I just want to have a rabbit
The
hedgehog.
rabbits are the reason the Rayman series took so long to be good again.
Anyway, but I'm curious, is this enough? And obviously they're going to show more, but what do they have to show to kind of come out on top? Because Microsoft's going to have Scorpio, and they're going to show off new hardware, which new hardware is always exciting and one of the top things to come out of an E3. Sony has an amazing first-party lineup. Honestly, I think Sony could show more of any of their first-party games, and people are going to be like, wow, Sony's...
Last of Us 2 just has to get
Sony-
announced and that's it.
Sony, honestly...
Death Stranding is going to be a huge thing for Sony.
Sony, honestly, in my opinion, has won every E3 since 2013. What does Nintendo need to do? What do they need to show
I think
this time?
Splatoon 2 needs to get a little bit more.
And
A little more love.
should Mario be the focus, or should they really be focusing on the future? Because I think
I feel like future is important. I agree with you, but definitely, they gotta focus on Mario, man.
I don't think Mario.
Mario's gonna be the system seller come November.
Of course.
I do agree with that, but I think here's the problem.
Come bundled with Mario
Once
Kart,
again,
you got it.
Once again, though, Nintendo is doing that thing where they focus more on their Nintendo fans, which is fine. But your Nintendo fans have been failing you in the aspect of you succeeding. That you can't live off of Nintendo fans alone. It's not going to work. You need to show people who aren't Nintendo fans why they need your console, and this is your time to show them.
Yeah.
I don't, as much as I do think Mario needs to be a focus, obviously, because Mario is coming out this holiday, and I agree, that's a system seller.
Right.
I don't think it needs to be a big focus because it's
It's
Mario,
it's gonna
and it's
sell
a
no
system
matter what.
seller.
I think Splatoon 2 needs to be a bigger.
Who knows?
Yes.
We don't know what's going on with this Mario, though. Nintendo always likes to throw a few curveballs in there, you know what I mean? So we don't know what's going on with this Mario, so there might be a reason they're focusing on that. But just say it. You want to say it. They need to focus on third party.
Third party is one especially, but I think if they also can give us a roadmap of what they're going to come out with for the next year, even first party, that's a big step. If you could say to me, March you're getting Pikmin 4, May you're going to be getting Metroid.
You're gonna get a new F-Zero game, something like that.
Yeah, I just need a roadmap
You just
to
want
prove
them
to
throwing
me-
out names and dates.
No.
Name drop a little
with,
form.
with trailers, at least. I
with trailers?
just need
No more heroes.
some reassurance
He doesn't know what No More Heroes.
that. Yeah, I've never played No More Heroes.
It's fun. It's a nice hack.
I heard
I
it.
don't. We know over this. It's weird by this point.
But
Play Mad World.
it's something
also
that.
never played it. We had that conversation too.
You're breaking my heart.
It's getting weird, isn't it?
Comic
Like,
Zone?
this is super
I'm
awkward.
sorry. No.
Comic Zone?
No.
All right. Anyway,
I love Comic Zone. I think it's a great game.
You agree to be on this
I-
podcast?
Okay, anyways. Now, I agree with you, but I think, so, like you're talking about with drawing in more fans.
because I'm done thinking they're going to get Red Dead 2 and things like that. It's not.
No,
I don't care about that.
It's
never too late, man.
It's not.
I
gonna
think they're
happen.
probably going to get a
If
release
they
of Red Dead.
really do get Skyrim, they could have lied to me. They could have lied to me about Skyrim, and I'd still be like, look, I get it, you're being ambitious. Like, do I really need Skyrim on the Switch?
You might not, but you're a Nintendo fan. You do enjoy Nintendo games.
I do, yeah, I definitely
The
do.
problem, though, is, and 3 people here are Nintendo fanboys, I would probably say. While I like Nintendo, I'm not someone who's like shouting from the rooftops for them. I want them to do well, and I want to see them succeed.
I love Nintendo.
I love Nintendo. I just, they do need that third party. And while, like I said, you might not need Skyrim, that is one of the big reasons I know a lot of people who are picking up a Switch. They're like, Skyrim on the go, that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's true. I
Look
can
at the
think of
sales
at least two
numbers.
people who have said basically that to me.
Skyrim Remastered. It did surprisingly well.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
Skyrim's just one of those titles.
Mhm.
So I'm just, what they can't get the big games. They're not, even if they do get them, I think the problem is going to be that comparison people are going to always show. People are always going to be like, hey, yeah, it's on there, but look how ugly and like it can't run at 60 frames a second because the graphics can't even
All
be
right,
there.
so people are going to be hipsters and show it. I honestly think there's a chance that you'll be surprised at some of the titles we'll see on the Switch.
Maybe.
I agree with that as well,
Mhm.
because they've been so odd with them recently that I think more strange titles, not like ARMS, but how out of place ARMS was. It was kind of...
In an era where motion controls has just about died out, it dares to be a motion game. Almost exclusively.
Yeah.
I'll show you a motion game. Play it every day.
Sometimes twice a day with both hands.
Oh, I like to practice my No More Heroes.
So, like, that was what I thought Splatoon could have been. I think Splatoon 1 was
I still
grievously
think
undersold.
Splatoon can be that because at the end of the day, Splatoon was their answer to Call of Duty.
It was good
And
old-fashioned
everything.
fun.
It was Nintendo can make a shooter that is not violent and still amazing.
I actually agree with that 100%. Here's my problem, though. Here's my problem, though, with Splatoon. And basically any shooter that goes onto the Switch. The Switch is a home console you can take on the go. Once I take that on the go, I lose half my content.
Okay, with that said, the PlayStation, then you can make that same argument that you can't take it anywhere. So that means I'm losing half the content there?
No, I'm losing all the content because I can't take it.
All right.
And you also
Losing
lose
all
two
of it.
shoulder
But
blades.
I like that it's not even an option. Like
That's the point. If you want to play this game, it's going to be in dock mode. I don't understand what the
Switch is
maybe I
all
want to
about
play
options.
Splatoon at the airport with random people, but I'm sorry that the world doesn't have a big satellite giving me Wi-Fi wherever I go.
I mean, there is
Yes.
there is Wi-Fi
Look,
there.
you're making too many assumptions.
I get it. It's
I
at
mean,
the
they did
Sorry, I
future-proof
can't
it.
just play Splatoon at the park with little kids.
There's Wi-Fi at the park. You're in
Maybe
a
that's for the better right now.
Then
You didn't talk about you play
in-
games with little kids.
You're in a time right now where I can go to Starbucks, I can go to McDonald's, I can go to the park with Wi-Fi spots. Everywhere has Wi-Fi
My park
spots.
does not have Wi-Fi.
Y spots.
Spots.
Y spots.
First off, your park is like an abandoned car and 3 tires. on top of each other.
Burning tires.
It's not even a park. Point being,
Car
is
has cinder blocks.
I can see what you're saying, but to me, when I heard that the Switch was coming out, in my mind, this was a console that I could take on the go once in
Okay.
a while. So that's how I'm looking at it, as a console.
So, all right,
I'm
here's
not
what I'm
expecting to take Call of Duty.
We all
on
have
the go.
Switches here, correct?
Yep.
All of us?
Yeah,
Okay.
launch day.
If you didn't have a Switch, okay,
Mhm.
you cannot name a Nintendo title. What does Nintendo have to release for you to buy a Switch?
Ooh.
That's not a Nintendo title. Bomberman.
You would buy it for Bomberman.
I really like
Actually, somebody did tell me they were going to do that because they liked Bomberman Jetters so
I
much.
do like Jenkins.
I can't believe you.
Yeah.
I can't believe
I-
that that is your selling point.
That's
Okay.
not my that's not a
Hey.
reason for buying a Switch, but that's just a game that I would get that would incentivize me to get a Switch.
Well, I'm saying if you didn't have a Switch, what game would have to be on there that's not Nintendo? It can't be a Nintendo. You cannot name a Nintendo game. And basically, let's pretend no Nintendo game was ever going to exist on it.
Okay.
What game had to be on there for you to get it?
If there was a game that would be on the Switch that would incentivize me to get it.
Skyrim. God damn it.
To be honest with me, and this is what I said before, I said this on the podcast before, I knew I wasn't going to be able to do these huge third-party games.
I agree.
I'd want to go to their original library. Dead Space 1, 2, and 3 could easily run on the Switch.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
would be nice.
it would be something
You do
nice.
Mass Effect
A
trilogy.
collection that we never got on the original consoles.
Yeah.
Start doing those collections on the
See,
Switch.
for me, my Switch is my secondary console. My PS4 is my main, and then I have my PC. So it's Master Race, Mustard Race,
Mustard Race.
But so for me, my Switch was I'm just getting Nintendo exclusives and maybe some indie games, stuff like that on it. Whereas there are people though out there that only get one console, so it's kind of hard to look at the Switch and be like, yeah, I'll get the Switch over the PS4 or the Xbox One that have such a large gaming library and that I know are going to get these big
Alright,
experiences.
first of all, everybody's buying a Switch over an Xbox One. Stop it.
All right, well, we can agree with that.
You're right. On our stream, we've actually had a solid number of people. We've streamed Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart who have come on and been like, man, I can't wait to get my Switch. And that thought has become so foreign to me now because I've had my Switch for,
Right.
since it launched. So it's like there are people who are still telling me, man, I can't wait to get my Switch this holiday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that does kind of suck. Like, we would be playing Mario Kart with people.
Because I'm a multi-console user. I think everyone in here
Yeah.
I've always had multiple consoles.
Right, I've always been multi-platform.
Jesse's always had multiple consoles.
This is true.
So, I mean,
I've
like,
always had the big three.
for us,
Me too.
it's kind of like, why wouldn't you have more than one? But there are people out there that can only have one.
And I can understand that, but to me, and I told you this before the podcast, I feel like the Switch isn't the console for those people. Like,
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
And as much as I love Nintendo and everything like that, when I got the Wii U, I thought that was going to be my main console, and I gave up after a couple months of that because there's nothing to play on it. But at the end of the day, I still wanted the Wii U. Just like at the end of the day, I knew my PS4 was always going to be my main console.
I'm still proud that I have a Wii U. It doesn't bother me that it tanked because it gave me Smash Brothers for one, and I'm huge into the Smash. I'm a huge
Bayonetta 2.
Bayonetta 2. It gave me a bunch of new games that, let me tell you, our friend Jeremy, I got a phone call from him when Bayonetta 2 came out, it was him screaming basically, like, oh my god, it's happening, it's here, and it's for the Wii U, and he didn't have a Wii U. So, like, I was getting a phone call, and it took me about 10 minutes for the phone call to realize why he was calling me, because I was the guy with the Wii U. and it kind of perspective for me, like,
You want to use me.
I'm the only guy that I know that has one.
Yeah.
So, and you know, I'm okay with that. That's not registered to me until it's brought up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know that I'm that guy that is the only dude who bought the Wii U. So, like Jenkins doesn't have a Switch, but he always talks about the Switch.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't care that I'm the only guy that has the Switch. I mean, it's like, hey, you guys now have friends. Yay.
Let's
Friend
exchange
We'll have to
IDs.
exchange IDs.
Friend code. I think I still
That's
have
what
one.
our Switch is.
Was there anything else we want to say about this topic real quick before we
No,
move on to
man.
these?
Secret?
I'm done. I'm done blowing Nintendo for the day. I'll blow it tomorrow.
Okay. So,
They need a break.
My mouth's getting kind of tired.
for the secret topic I wanted to save for us.
Okay.
If you could go 20 years in the past and bring one game with you to show someone in the past how far gaming has come,
Could be me.
what if you wanted to? Well, how old would you have been? Would you have been able to register? 20 years is where you're going, regardless.
20 years.
Not that bad for me.
Yeah. You could bring one game. What game would it be? I actually have mine. It's mine.
A
Go
game
ahead,
that
buddy.
I can
No, I'm
bring-
going last.
Alright, 'cause
A
you're
game that I
blushing.
can bring back to '97 and show the world that
What
this
games?
is what game's going to be. So Super Mario 64 has been on the market for 1 year.
You're thinking way too much into this. Just pick a game.
To be honest, I would.
Fallout.
You'd
Which
go.
one?
Fallout.
New Vegas.
No, probably 3.
3. Okay.
Because 2 to 3 was a big jump. So I would want to show Fallout 1 fans, like, look, stick with it. You got
Okay.
something coming.
Okay.
I would go recent and really off core, but I'd love to bring back Resident Evil 7 to show. You know what? That or I really want to say Last of
Why?
Us.
So they could all abandon it after 3 anyways?
I would actually.
eventually.
Oh, this is what it gets to? Never mind, at least we know.
I would actually go with Last of Us just to show them this is what an actual gaming experience
Take-
could be.
Bring back Last of Us. Look who Resident Evil becomes.
Only because I would want them to understand, you know, this will be eventually taken as a real form of art.
Okay, you.
Right.
Let's go, Logan.
Just open your mouth and close it. That's it.
I know, because I'm really trying to think what would be the best one, and I was thinking The Last of Us because that does show the best rendition of gaming becoming art, becoming more than just a game. However, for gameplay's sake, I'd probably bring back Halo 2. Just because
Halo 2.
at the time, there is no real thing as the first-person shooter other than Doom, other than Wolfenstein.
Okay.
And the first-person shooter genre
Halo did bring-
explodes
Halo did
with
bring
Halo.
first person on the forefront. And like I think about it now and how many first persons get released now, and I was like, when Halo came out, that was one of the first persons I've ever played. Where I was like,
Yeah, I agree with that.
I could do this.
this is
Yeah.
What?
when I turn, he turns.
I actually have 2 answers. My first
Oh, what a
answer
nerd.
Choose
is just.
between this.
You want me to choose between them?
No.
I'll only pick one.
No, let's hear them
I have a
both. Come
second one
on.
for comedy's sake too. So
That's what I
go
had.
ahead.
One was
Right.
just really funny. I would go back with Shovel Knight.
You bastard!
And be like,
so good! Shovel Knight's so good though!
he left.
Get back in here. Good boy.
So I
say something Shovel Knight.
I would take Shovel Knight, show me, and just to be like,
Look, we
this
don't
is
go
where
anywhere.
games get. We go backwards.
But what is
We don't go anywhere.
Guys, look, Undertale. The graphics are amazing.
Games became so good, we went back.
But
We're still playing Mega Man.
what I would show as a serious note, I would honestly probably be Witcher, because I think the storytelling in that game is so good, and the world's so big, but it's not. In my opinion, that's probably the only open world game that while I'm playing it, I don't mind.
how big it is?
Yeah, because there's just I see so many interesting things. Like while I'm riding my horse, I just see a couple that's in trouble, and I'm like, man, like this just feels alive. Like it doesn't feel empty or barren.
I want to change my answer now that I think about it. It's still a Bethesda game, but we've done it here today. We've referenced how big Skyrim is.
Yeah.
I realize now how often I compare open world games to Skyrim, because Skyrim has become this staple game where it's like, that's the big game. Skyrim was.
I liked Oblivion more.
I did like
It was
Oblivion.
so good.
But with that being said, like he said, I know
agree.
people that don't like RPGs, don't like open world, that were
Played
about
Same.
Skyrim.
I knew a lot of
So-
people. I knew a guy who literally only played Madden, Call of Duty every year.
But he played Skyrim.
Got Skyrim, and that's now the only other thing he'll play. He's like, when another Elder Scrolls game comes out, that's now my 3.
And
You
you know what?
know,
But he won't try anything.
Hey, you know
the
what?
clientele I work with, I've seen some like hard thug people. They're like, word, streets of my life. What, Skyrim? Yo, that was my shit. Like, everybody
It's
likes
everything.
Skyrim.
It's like, whoa.
Let's go become a werewolf.
So you know what? I think I still Bethesda game, but I would bring Skyrim back because I would be like, look, games get massive.
Yeah.
Like we get over the top, and this is the.
My-
I remember watching the trailer for Skyrim, going,
My
"Wow,
question
we're
is,
about
though,
to."
you got to go back in time. It means you got to bring your own TV, your own hookups, your system, because no TV 20 years ago could run Skyrim. You'd be sitting there with your AC cable.
Hey, guess
Ah!
what? I can bring back Halo 2. 360 uses AV.
Yeah,
That's
right.
true.
Oh, he's alright. Yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking about that, and I was like, you know, thinking about especially the first. If you played the first Elder Scrolls game,
Oh,
Arena,
that's a huge.
Oh,
it's
God.
massive because of if you did something unconventional. If you tried to walk the whole map, and it's just like you can't.
Yeah.
It'll take real
27
days
years.
to do, and it's too, and it's it's creating itself as it goes. It's not as big as Skyrim all the time. Skyrim's always that big,
Yeah.
you know, but it doesn't take days to actually walk across Skyrim. So I would probably go back and show them like, so all this, this dungeon crawler. This is what a dungeon crawler becomes. It's that big and massive. That'd probably be big.
Well, in
That's
that
what-
vein, I'd bring back Binding of Isaac as well. To show people that there is a game that can become different every time you play it now. Now we have
That's
the
how
ability...
Arena was. Arena was like that. It was becoming different, like as you played it.
Right.
So it was
Just because
Well-
it had to be.
I think that was a good topic to end on. Thought it
Yeah.
was something fun to just kind of
That was
say.
awesome.
Nice.
You're fun.
My fake game would be Game
You're
of
a fun
Mario.
topic.
So this was episode 24 of The Enthusiasts. Please feel
An
free.
extra hour and 11 minutes added
this
to a
thing-
bonus.
Oh,
Oh wait,
God.
I want to do. By the way, Skyrim is this game. It's really good.
It's contagious. I get everybody to do it, man.
But so feel free to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, Twitch.
You said
Minus-
Facebook, YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah, that's the big one. I keep forgetting the big one lately.
Let's forget. I just want to say what a pleasure it was having you too. It was amazing.
Thanks again.
Normally,
Yeah,
our
I
third
loved it.
guest I cannot stand. I mean, it's not like you listen to this podcast.
I mean, if you can stand me, don't worry.
Well,
Have me on one more
I
time.
had fun
you'll get-
with both of you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, I appreciate the hand jobs when you came in. That was very nice of you
It's
guys.
custom.
Yeah, it's.
How else to greet someone when you're in their
So
home?
I'm gonna let Zabu here just give you a nice shout out again. But
Yeah.
I would love to have
Guys,
you back
feel free
on.
to check out the Systems United.
Facebook, Twitter,
Sorry.
Twitch, YouTube. We have a bunch of things.
So I'll actually, when I post this video, I will have a link to their stuff as well. Feel free to check them out. They do a lot of cool stuff. Just hit that like button if you like it. If you didn't like it, don't hit the dislike button. Unfortunately,
It doesn't work.
I
Yeah,
don't know
it's-
what the heck's wrong with
It's
YouTube.
like
over
once
there.
you have like 4 people on the podcast, it just the likes. I'm like, done.
It's weird. For some reason, it's a time thing. I think once
Yeah.
you go over an hour, that's why every video we do an hour and a minute.
Yeah, it's
Got
weird.
you guys.
Yeah, sorry.
But thanks for coming along.
Yeah, definitely.
This has been
No problem.
episode 24 of The Enthusiast, and we are gone.
Peace.
Stay united.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
Yes, good. Now you're getting it.